Let us hope it is correct.
Well, he said I was connecting, so.
For your sake and ours.
Of course, I'm still on the connecting screen. So. But yeah, I needed a few more points to rank up. That was run. That was.
So you may notice that the game may load a little better. Fuck is this token? What does this do? What is that token?
I don't think it's gonna load any better for me because my internet is shit.
Yeah, well, it will when it doesn't have to load like 200 megabytes of tokens.
What is this animal?
Yeah, you didn't know about that, huh?
Are those mongooses?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, it had like 200 megabytes of tokens. That's crazy. Dum 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 dum.
Seriously, my internet. Earlier, all I had was TeamSpeak going. It crapped out on me. I would not get Windstream if I was in. Suck. They don't even have an office based out of Alabama.
Never even heard of it.
What level are we? 2?
2. Or level 2. Why?
Fantasy Grounds, now taking child requests.
What?
As under DOE weather extension. Rule sets, my bad.
But yeah, I was trying to think of what I was going to.
I don't see it under weather.
No, I misread rule sets as requests.
Oh. From the day he was born, he yearned for adventure. Old Captain Jack, showing a man what for. Alright, on to the fun, happiness, good things. Just before we start, let's check our thing here to make sure we're not exploding. Grounds is fantasy grounds. You are using up 2.5. Provide some memory. That's a lot, but it's not as bad as it could be. Alright, take a moment, peruse the message of the day, as it were, if you have not already.
Already have.
Very good.
Oh, wait, got fucking options menu.
You have an options menu? Of course you did.
I didn't have one before.
Huh. Well, alright. Well, I'll go ahead and while we're waiting on the map to load there, we'll go ahead and do the one thing. Basically, as I mentioned in the message of the day, last time on D&D, the party finally managed to defeat the terrible Odyug menace that lurked beneath the murky waters of the cistern, ending their polluted reign over the fetid tunnels beneath the city of Malika. Alright. Unfortunately, after you guys were tending to the paladin, he reveals himself to have been the man the party was looking for all along. John Frew, member of the Brotherhood of Bahamut, found himself bested by not only the Otyugs, but by some manner of man who fought alongside them. Claiming that his blessed weapon had been disarmed during the combat and fallen into the smelly waters, he was beaten brutally until he managed to keep the evil creatures at bay with his spells. Yet undisclosed spells, for what it's worth. And then you saw the man and the pipes, and he leapt down as soon as you called attention to him, and you guys had a really fun time just chasing him all over the map. And unfortunately, not quite doing as great as you could have. But it's okay. The guy was clearly skilled, and he was very good at what he did. He seemed like he was going to get away, no matter what you did. He introduced Berg to the ground, Berg's weapon to the ground, tamed me into the ground, and then tamed me into the water, I think.
Also, I've retrieved the water weapon.
You did. You retrieved the very wonderful weapon of wonderfulness. It's very true.
Yes.
On the other hand, managed to unfortunately offend Jean Frew far too often, and after several baited interactions, it was enough. John summoned his deity's favorite weapon via some manner of spell, and proceeded to battle Shanoa, and despite being starved and dehydrated, managed to have victory, because, unfortunately, he is a very capable fighter. That said, everything has been largely resolved for the most part. You guys have managed to group back up. As he mentioned, Lion jumped into the water and retrieved the weapon for Jean Frew, which was the only thing that really kept him down here for the most part, other than being beaten to an inch of his life, of course. And now you guys have decided to try and get out of here. For the most part, I think it was Jean was mostly willing to get out, but Shanoa seems to be avoiding him for reasons that everybody but Lion would not know. But that was basically what happened last time. Continuing from last time, as the man grips his weapon, it's a nice, fine, heavy pick. You know, a very unusual weapon, but one that has been commonly seen in the hands of the Brothers of Bahamut and other Bahamut-related orders. He grips it, and it's silver finish, and he just kind of seems to be at peace now, and he says, "All right, if one of you would kindly lend me your arm, I would be most happy to get to the surface now. Some rest, some food, it'll do me good."
All right.
Sure, Mr. Frau. Why don't you and Berg kind of take up the front there, Lion, and I'll help keep an eye and help Mr. Frau here walk.
My thoughts exactly.
All right. Gonna reveal. There's a reason the map has been unrevealed, and it's because, you know, things happen every now and then in the same places that you thought were once safe.
The British are coming.
Yeah, the British. Lion, you're walking back?
Well, I can't go over the board.
That's true. Oh yeah, I see what you're doing. Just gonna take the time to go around them.
Yep.
Okay. So as you guys are starting to move, you hear suddenly just the whole earth seems to shake. There's a rather thunderous sound that just seems to reverberate throughout the caverns that you're in right now. It's almost as if, for whatever reason, something mighty and earth-shattering has just occurred. Rocks, loose stone, large boulders come falling from the ceiling, some of them splashing into the cistern, causing large ripples that splash all over the place. Lion manages to probably raise his large sword in front of himself to keep himself dry. Berg, unfortunately, has to soak up the poo water.
Again.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't worry, I was swimming in it a second ago, so not necessarily dry.
So basically, a catastrophic event is occurring. That's what it can be described as. It's almost as if an earthquake is upon you. Everything seems to be shaking. People are, having trouble staying afoot. In fact, almost every one of you will need to make a balance check that I will roll here because I have a party roll. And balance is not a trained skill. Well, never the fuck mind. I don't have balance in this party roll for whatever fucking reason. Everybody please roll balance.
In the tower?
You can roll into the tower, you can roll it out front, doesn't matter. I know the DC.
I'll roll it out front just to see how fucked I am. Because I know it's bad. Yeah, not good.
It's nice knowing you, Damien.
Damien, you fall prone. Noah, you fall prone.
Really? Oh.
Dee Dee falls prone, surprisingly. I don't even know how to rotate her token to illustrate. Since John Frew is currently with Damien, he also falls prone. And I also need to clear his targets because there's no reason he should be targeting Shanoa right now.
There's every reason.
Let's see, Berg, you fall prone. Lion, you fall prone. Everyone falls. So, for what it's worth, some of you actually got decent rolls. That is how heavy these tremors are. They're not constant. They're sudden. They're shaking. You hear large explosions and shaking force rippling through the walls in the cavern here, almost as if something massive seems to be bombarding the surface above you. Almost every one of you probably is either in a completely heightened state of alert or is panicked at this point.
What in the hell is that?
I don't know, but let's get the fuck out of here.
John Frew holds himself on his arms and he's like, something must be happening to the city above. We need to get up to the surface now.
It's going to be an interesting prospect.
Well, we can definitely go as quick as we can.
Maybe we should stand up before we start.
Yeah.
Yes. I stand up, and then I move that way.
Yes, Timon will also stand up and help up Mr. Frew.
Okay. And basically, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
He'll also be like, do you know, Mr. Frew, have you been able to cross those boards without breaking them?
I did not use the boards on my way down here. I have other methods, but I can use them, I am quite certain. My armor, the only thing that really weighed me down, has largely been destroyed, as you can see.
Okay. Well, it'll probably be quicker just to use that then, although we can't go across at the same time.
Yeah.
Again, as you guys pause in between the intervals of 6 seconds that the rounds take time in, there's another ripple of explosions seem to hit the entirety of the surroundings. You actually see a small wave of water coming towards you from down the corridor. It's not particularly large. It's not going to threaten you guys at all, but it's almost as if something just crashed down on that side of the corridor. You can hear the telltale signs of rumbling cavern, almost as if a cave-in has occurred.
Huh. Neat.
Well,
it's the alien attack, guys.
Probably. Can I move only single moves with Fro?
You have to move half speed, but you can double. So I guess single, yeah.
Well, if it's easier for you, we'll just walk you along the land here, Mr. Fru.
We made a pyramid.
Around the cistern.
Yeah.
Hey, this is silly. I'm going to do this.
Okay. Immersion! No!
Fuck immersion. At this point, it's just silly.
I start running.
Alright. Alright, so you're starting
moving
running
away from the paladin.
Okay.
Chase it.
So Shanoa, as you start you're basically hustling away. You start hearing a loud clattering sound of clanking as Berg and Lion both start sprinting behind you, preferably with weapons at the ready, because they're trying to kill you.
Well, I have a two-handed weapon, so it's kind of on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Get her.
Dickwad. All of you.
And Berg has a two-handed weapon too, so it's on
Don't
his
try to
shoulder
get back
too.
at me for yesterday. I know it.
I don't know anything about that.
So it does kind of look like we're running at you with weapons ready.
You have to rest for an hour between running?
I think it's a minute.
Oh, well, then I should just clear your runnings then. Do this.
Okay,
Running
so-
for 2, and he's more than likely going to be running for 2. Yeah, I've got a thing in it
okay.
that dictates it, or doesn't dictate it, but keeps track of it. All right. Noah's still hustling. She's hustling about as fast as those two are sprinting. As you get to close to the edge, Tamian, for you, I'm just going to kind of do this. Give me your movement line so I can measure it, and I'll just move all of you at once.
Okay. What am I? I'm just doing a 30.
Yeah, do one movement line. So as you guys approach the area where you had previously come through, you find something horrifying. A large amount of rubble has fallen down. Some of it has fallen into the water, and it has completely blocked the path on this one side. As you guys are running along, you feel another tremor go down, and another cavernous rumble is coming from further on. It's almost as if these old sewers are starting to collapse. The masonry is well done, and you can tell from around where you are that not everything is collapsing, and largely the sewers will survive the impact of any type of terrible thing that happens to them. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that one. Shit. Now I can't seem to, only move you. There we go. But, at the same time, it's still a dangerous thing for most of you. I'm just going to move you up here.
Damn it.
Another
We have to cross the water. John, how are your wounds?
Who's that?
John Frau.
Oh, John. I think you said Sean. I was like, who's that?
John looks over and says, "My wounds can wait. They're not particularly great, mind you, but they're better."
I meant for the poo water.
I'll be fine.
It's poo water.
The healing
Good
is
enough
done
for
well
me.
Is that a leap? Is that a flat DC, or are you just jumping?
No, I'm jumping down, wading over, and trying to climb back up.
Okay. Yeah. Roll a something over here. There we go. All right. Yeah. Roll a roll. You're jumping down. That's fine. You can do that. Roll your swim check.
Shit.
Damien frowns a bit. He's like, I was really hoping I wouldn't have to get back in that water without actually just being a...
I got a 6.
Shit. All right. You're currently floundering. That portable bridge, Joe.
I'm going to try and see if I can
That we don't have the money for.
reach down
I know.
and pull him up to the surface.
Yeah, you can reach out and pull them up for service. Also, Berg, I've kind of decided that I'm not going to, if you can walk along the bottom, I'm no longer going to make you make swim checks in calm water. Because I've determined that takes a lot of rounds to resolve, and I don't like it.
Okay.
Kind of silly, too.
Yeah. All right, so you reach down, you pick them up, you can set them up right. For what it's worth, Lion, you can actually kind of walk along the bottom with your weight. You'll still move at half speed, no matter what you do, or quarter speed, excuse me. But you don't have to make swim checks so long as you can touch the bottom. Oh, whoops.
Okay.
Lion, there's steps over that way. Maybe we should... Well, I guess you're already in there.
Don't really want to go in there.
Then fly your fairy ass over.
All right, just given the situation,
Asshole.
I'm going to kind of just ignore some things. Like, how would you say? I'm not doing minor climb checks at the moment because I'm not going to have a person trying to sit here for 10 rounds trying to climb up on the thing. It's annoying.
It was.
Although we do have these there. At least right now, because we are trying to get out of the sewers. It's been a while. Okay. So you keep running. Technically, you would just bowl them to over, but since we're not in combat, it's okay. Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna make my way into the water. And then the next one I'll have to do movement. I'm just gonna climb down.
Okay, let's see. I did not mean to click that. Trying to do this stuff and it always clicks the wrong thing. Alright, climbing into the water. Cool.
Okay. And the steps are... I can climb onto the side of them. I'm tall enough to do that, right?
Yeah, you probably can.
Okay. Well, that's as far as I can go right now. In one movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And... out.
So would there be any penalty? So if I tried to say jump and land on the steps, if I fail, would there be any major penalty or? Yes.
Blue water.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to go in there anyway.
I don't think there would be any particular penalties. No, it's just poo water at this point, unless something happens to be in the water as well. In which case, that would just be associated with the being in the water.
Damien tells Dee Dee to go up there and wait for him
What the hell happened?
across the side.
No one else has moved yet.
Okay.
Okay. So you told him to go over across the water?
Yeah, to get up onto the other side.
Okay.
And he's gonna...
Go into the water. Check. Of course, she has not really had any trouble since then.
Whoosh.
The dog, she just does what she does.
Do what you do, man.
There aren't any armor feats, are there?
Armor feats?
Yeah. Things that make you better with armor.
Armor proficiency.
I got that.
Union hops in the water. John Prue gets down with them. Go ahead and roll your jump check if you're leaping across.
Sure thing. Figured as much.
Plop.
Okay. You guys can wait across at a half movement if you want. Or quarter movement, excuse me.
Right.
Lion, I think you're the only one who hasn't moved for this round, basically.
Oh, I thought I was still waiting for them to move for this round.
Okay. That's what you do. For each round, I should just tell you guys to make a movement line, and we'll dictate what happens. So, Dee Dee's currently working, waiting for you guys. Tamian, quarter movement, or is that all you can make?
Well, 30, so whereas, quarter 40 is 10.
I can move
Gotcha.
to. Can I go from there, or would I need to go to there first?
You can try to climb up on that if you'd like. You can just take 10 if you want.
My take 10 would be a 9, though, I think.
That's true. So you may want to just go around it.
Yeah, I'm just going to go around it. So, that.
How do you do that where you delete part of your line?
I just
have to
redraw from my
redraw it.
character.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. So as you guys are swimming across the channel there, another shattering, thud seems to hit the earth above you. It almost seems to impact it right above you, and you almost see the earth above you in the ceiling distend towards you.
Oh, shit.
Several bits of flagstone actually get rustled loose and seem to fall from the ceiling as you guys are passing through.
Shit.
Okay. Berg gets hit, gets showered in it. So does Lion. But Berg doesn't really have to worry about it because it rolled double ones. Lion got a 1 and a 6. Okay. Both of you get showered with these rocks and this terrible slate that's coming down from the ceiling there. Pieces of jagged masonry just falling as it's been dislodged from it. A lot of it seems to ping off of your armor, but a couple of it just gives you a good slap in the head, and you find yourself trying to run through it very hurriedly. While the rest of you slowly try to make your way up.
Berg would yell back to the others. Keep your heads covered. All right.
Okay.
Probably go like here, I would think.
Okay.
Is that something you can say you actually do?
What?
Like if you had a shield, hold it up now.
You can do that.
I don't have one, but I was wondering if that's
I would-
something you can do.
Honestly, if you didn't hold your shield up, I would probably consider you to not get your shield bonus from something like that. But although, honestly, I think the way you would do it is like you would reflexively hold your shield up.
Okay.
Like, oh shit. There's actually a shield that does something like that normally. It's called an overhead shield. It makes it's a magical item that makes like a force field over your head in a really long rectangular shape or oval shape, and it blocks all attacks from above, including like ballast of fire and stuff.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right.
I need to get one.
As you guys are moving,
Shit!
you look forward, and you see that another large pile of rubble seems to have dislodged and has fallen into the water channel. This one, however, while it is large and it's very, very unwieldy when you're walking across it, it seems to have formed in a way that you could probably try to cross it if you're feeling brave.
John, do you know of any exits nearby?
There's one to the north east. It leads to an old storehouse, the owner of which he has since passed on. I believe his funeral was not too many months ago. But I have no idea if that house has even survived this long, considering the state of the affairs above.
Know the way.
Okay.
Well, if we can get out, at least it'll be less likely we get hit with these rocks.
Is these pebbles here in front of me? Is that like treacherous ground or anything?
No, that's just indication of that that's fallen loose.
Okay.
Like those ones where that you got hit by. All right, let's see. We're gonna expose this.
Okay, so Damien and John Frau moved this round, but I haven't, right?
I believe so.
So they wouldn't be in my way if I did this.
Yeah, you're good.
You are in my way.
All right, you can cross that rubbly land bridge at half speed. If you try to do it full speed, you can. However, you will take penalties and maybe have to roll a balance check.
Okay.
Berg would shout back to John, is it further north, or do we go east here?
He points along. He says, turn right at the next corner. Along the next channel, there should be an opening on the opposite side. I warn you, though, the man was known for his magical trinkets and traps. He may very well have warded the area to guard it from thieves. There's many of them that tend to congregate down here.
Something will have to chance.
My character is having deja vu and doesn't understand why.
I'll have to try.
Thieves like to congregate in places that other people don't. Sewers and catacombs tend to be things like that.
So that'd be 10, 20. This would be... Okay. That's a double move and it counts for the difficult terrain area.
Okay.
Yeah. Difficult terrain's minus 10 for us, right?
Yep.
Okay.
John somewhat hobbles as he moves up onto the pile of rubble and rock. He tries to keep his balance as much as he can. He leans on you a bit, Damien. He's like, "I'm sorry, young man, to make you carry this this worn-down soldier. I'll make it up to you once we get up top.
It's fine. Just stay up. We're probably almost there, I think. I'm guessing, but just take it slow.
As you guys look on and start moving back and forth, you see a rather large amount of rubble just come down from the ceiling, crashing down ahead of you, all over the western side of the channel. And as the rocks continue to fall, it gets larger. Well, if I got the right token, I would.
It's larger.
Nope.
Meh.
Meh.
That's still my favorite part.
It was pretty fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Easy enough over the rocks.
What's that?
Oh no, Tinian's just kind of talking to. He's like, "All right, easy enough over the rocks."
Yep. Ahead of you guys, you see a small turn in the cistern going to the west. However, that doesn't seem to be the area that John has indicated. Instead, at the corner that you're currently at, for those of you who chased the man in the leather armor, you see a familiar small opening opposite the gated entrance that you guys ran through before. Or, well, opposite the channel that you're on leading to the gated entrance. Right here. I guess, actually, technically, no one who's currently up here would know that. But then Berg walks around the corner and says, I've been here.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a big one. Another big pile of splutch falls down.
Ah.
The masonry, for as heavy as everything's being hit with this, whatever the hell's hitting the surface, seems to be holding up in a rather admirable fashion, considering that large chunks of this sewer is falling down, and yet the rest of it is managing to keep its shape and not deform. This sewer will survive the test of time. The only question is, will you? Lion will not, as long as he continues to fall sideways.
I know, right?
Berg, by the way, you've been carrying a board for like the longest time, just so you know. I know it's not your backpack, but
I kind of
picked
forgot
it up
about that.
down there. Yeah. You picked it up way down there, so.
Well, I guess we can use it here then, huh?
Yeah, I figured it would come in handy, so I was going to let you know.
Yeah.
Since you've been clearly carrying it over your shoulder while fighting all manner of things.
I was making chase, swinging a board at him.
Yep. Okay. So as you guys approach, you see across here, you see a small darkened room. You don't seem to see anything in it, but from what you can see, mostly because of how dark it is and how far away you guys are, you can see that it seems to be somewhat more well kept than the rest of these sewers. Some of these parts of these sewers look like they've not been touched in ages, while this area, while it certainly has been left abandoned for some time, the tiles and the flagstone seem to be a little bit better off. Dust is probably what you see, as opposed to the grime and the mold and the fungus.
Interesting. I climbed down. Wait over. Climb back up.
I can't remember. Did you say this was the way out that he was indicating to, or was not?
He said yes. When they were standing right here, I said that there is a way, further up the thing going to the left, but that's not the way he indicated. He said that it was during this corner.
Oh, okay.
As John and Tamian come around the corner, he points over as Lion swimming across and says, "There! That's the old man's storeroom. The doors seen better days, and it must have been carted off by some kind of creature, but We may be able to seek shelter that way. If nothing else, we can possibly pass through it to maybe get to the other side.
Before Shanoa goes up, well, okay. I was going to put my board down.
Okay. Put your board down. Blank, blank, blank. Blank, blank, blank. Blank, 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 blank.
Plank, 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 plank.
I'm gonna put it on the mid layer.
And he's going to help hold this side down. Just in case.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna get quick draw.
Draw's a pretty good thing. Alright. Dog. Gone through. And then more rocks!
And it's kind of like up there, like, what's going on up there?
I don't know, but the entire cavern seemed to be rumbling, shaking as if some major thing is occurring.
Oh,
Lion,
let's get
as you
it.
As Lion runs into the room, he looks back and says, "Hurry up! I'll scout the area out real quick."
Cannot scout the area. It is dark.
Oh God, I can't say. We need light.
Thank you, Berg. And he kind of says, and he kind of looks at John. He's like, do you think you can walk across the board, or you want me to help you from the water?
He nods. He says, I think I can handle it from here. If my intuition serves me correct, I think we're going to have worse troubles ahead. Something that will at least slow us down at worst and possibly interfere at best. So he allows you to go on. Then you
It's going to hold this side of the board too, with Berg to try to help keep it steady for him. All this earthquaking and whatnot.
He shouts out, he says, I have a light spell. It will not last for too long. If anyone has a more appropriate means, that may be the better way to go with this.
I have one I can use, Mr. Frau. I'll keep it for yourself.
Very well done. He looks back to Berg and says, Mountain Man, what will you do?
What will I do? What do you mean?
You're the only one on the other side of the thing, like you're standing there stoically saying, you go, this my land. This my place, this my fight.
He just quietly crawls into the water.
Alright, go ahead and, to Lion's stall. Lion, please give me a light radius.
Wah.
Yep. Alright. Your light radius will be attached to one of your corners, and that should give you dim lighting for most of the room, so I'm going to go ahead and just reveal a large portion of it. True to its name, as soon as this room is revealed, you see large amounts of old crates, some busted, nice resources such as logs and things stashed here and there. It almost looks as if someone had really just, this was their place. This is where they stored everything. Ahead, you even see more crates. You see a ladder almost in the distance, and even on the far side, you see what looks to be a small table of sorts, along with some bars that connect to the outer cistern. You can tell that much because you see light beyond those bars. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and reveal that area as well. I'll just reveal this whole area. Oh, shit. I mean, you're going to see some of this. Some of it's going to be dim lighting. Some of it's going to be extremely not there lighting. But for the purpose of us doing this, we'll just do this. And then the bars are over here that lead to the other channel almost. Oh, whoops. And beyond those bars, you see another channel. As Berg wades into the water, John will try to move along with the rest of them. So will the dog, I assume.
Yep.
Something strange happens, Ian, as you run ahead of the group.
I like how he phrases that.
As you run forward, it's almost as if from your perception, nothing ever actually changes. But for the rest of you guys, let me rephrase that. Nothing actually changes from your perception. You're running forward the entire time. But to everybody else, you suddenly run forward and seem to just turn around suddenly and then run back.
Lion, why are you running away?
How the fuck did you
Get
just
out
get
of
get over here?
We haven't moved.
How do you mean, Lion? You were just started turning around and running back towards us.
No, I ran in a straight line.
No, you didn't.
didn't.
The paladin places his hand on Shanoa's shoulder and says, "Quiet. There's something."
Upon having
straight.
him touch her, she is going to back the fuck away from him.
He looks at you and says, "Quiet." Anyways,
Quite.
I sense that this may be one of those aberrational traps of his. They're very famous. He was a very particular man, and he was very wealthy as well. He stored many of his goods down here in the storehouse. It was something of legends. Many thieves tried to break in and steal what they could while he was alive.
How do we
We
get
did not
through
leave it so unguarded.
Uh,
There's something afoot here.
Treachery!
Treachery!
it?
Treasury! What?
Treasury. Treasure.
You guys do see little glints of light on the other side of the room, almost as if something is reflecting it. Of course, because that's what things do when they reflect light, right?
Yeah. Okay. Damien, know anything about this?
we'll see.
Oh yeah, is there any
Yeah.
roll I can make too?
A roll? Unfortunately, you have no idea what's happening, so there's no way to really bank off of this. You would need something supplemental in order to make a fielded guess, or in order to field a guess. Basically, you guys are kind of just looking at Lion running around in circles. There's no roll you can make off that unless you're trying to determine if he's insane.
Oh, no, I was trying
Can I
to
make
go
that
based
roll?
off of.
Yeah, you can make that roll. Heal check.
I'm not trading. Oh, let's say.
You determine that Lion seems to be genuinely confused about what's happened. He's either insane or he sincerely believes that he just ran forward. And Tamian, what was your check about?
Well, basically, I was trying to use spellcraft to see if it was like some sort of spell that was lasting. In
Fortunately,
like
you don't have a means of using that spellcraft to determine anything. Not at this time. You'll need something more.
And I didn't see him run, so I don't really... I have nothing to add. Like, why are we all standing around here?
John turns and looks back to the mountain man. He says, "There appears to be something impeding us." And he turns back to the group and says, "There must be some way through. It would not simply be a barrier. The man may find himself on this side more often than once, therefore he would have to cross back through. My only hope is that it's not under one of these piles of rubble."
Well, guess let's just try walking around it.
Now, this area right here, these two right here, these are pretty much packed up to the ceiling.
I
You're
want
going-
to search the area though, in case there's like some kind of
Okay. I was gonna
carvings
say,
or
you
something.
won't just be able to walk over the large logs of trees. And everybody wonders, how did they get those down here? That doesn't matter.
Yes.
Alright, yeah,
could be a clue.
give it a search, and let's see what you find.
Probably jack shit.
As you search, you look around the area, you start peeking behind the logs. Some of them look like they have spider webs that stretch on for tens of feet, as if this area has not been touched forever. As you place one hand on one of the logs, you pull against it. It's almost as if the bark itself has rotten, and you just pull it off completely. The whole thing just looks like it's been here for ages. Other than that, you don't really seem to find anything in this general area over here. No footsteps. Just dust.
Are these rocks like up to the ceiling?
Yes, that is rubble. Just like the other rubbles you've been finding falling down. Speaking of which, there's a large amount of explosions and shaking and earthquaking happening around you guys as well.
Gotta hurry,
wanna
find
hurry it
something.
John tries to move forward and says, "There's got to be some way through this." And he just kind of moves along, trying to prod his way through stuff. As he moves forward, he suddenly gets shunted back. It is not that way.
Well, I guess, yeah, Tamian will kind of try the same thing, just prodding particular sections. I know Lion ran straight forward there.
Like curiosity, did anyone try like throwing something?
No.
That might be dangerous. You throw it in,
flying back at you.
around and flies back at you. Damien, as you walk forward and you stop there, nothing seems to really happen. You just stand there.
This
reminds me of Undertale.
Berg, as you move up here, you just kind of stand there.
Guys, it appears to be clear up to Tamnian and my point.
But Mr. Fruit just moved to that spot before.
No, he ran straight ahead.
Oh. What if we take it slow? Well, no, I mean, I suppose...
Damien, as you take a step outward, you suddenly go backwards.
Oh.
Lion, as you move up, you stand there. Lion, as you start to move diagonally, you suddenly are thrust into Shanoa. Shanoa, make a reflex save. Or get out the way. It's over on attempt. Do that.
Okay. Do we need to make it?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Oh, whoops. What was that? Oh, whoops, wrong way. Alright, so Berg, as you step forward, you move up this way. And it seems to go properly for a second. You don't feel anything acting upon you. In fact, almost none of you do. What is that? What is the single-digit arrow that's kind of floating around right now? What's going on?
I was gonna remember where I stood last. Where I was last, okay.
John Frew stands there studying the problem for a moment, and it seems like he has an idea. He chants something very, very quiet under his breath, and then suddenly his eyes glow blue, and he sits there and stares at the area as Berg is moving through. Lion, you move forward, and you just stand there.
Do I hear him chanting?
You do.
Okay.
As you look back, you see him quietly staring at you with a very azure gaze looking at you. And looking at the area around you, just kind of scanning. After a moment, as everybody stands here, trying to feel their way through this strange labyrinth of mind-bending illusion or something, John speaks up and he says, "Haha, it is as I expected. There's magic afoot."
A character would say no.
Kinda figured that.
She wouldn't get the shit being out of her.
What's that?
Nothing.
Okay. So, God.
Lion says we kind of figured that.
Yeah, but, I mean... How's it working?
Can you tell us anything more?
The magic only represents itself in a manner of abjuration magic. It would take more study to completely figure it out, and the runes that I'm seeing, I assume they're runes, they don't make much sense to me. It would require experimentation. Unfortunately, this does not just provide a means of understanding completely. Damien, as you move forward, you suddenly are shunted in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Lion, as you start to run forward, you find yourself shunted this way.
This is like Undertale all over again.
Berg, as you step forward, you find yourself shunted this way.
Okay, so there's a pattern here somehow. Fucking Pokemon all over again.
Bad y'all can't see them runes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything that lets me do that.
Yes, I have used my spells.
No, you just didn't prepare to take magic. Alright. As you move forward, Lion, you suddenly find yourself shunted towards where Tamian was moving. Tamian, as you move forward... Oh, whoops, wrong thing. As you move forward, you suddenly find yourself shunted this way.
I don't like this place.
I don't either.
Well, Berg, your turn.
Nah.
Let's see. Do you do that, Berg? Instead, you find yourself shunted in this direction. Oh, whoops, sorry. So as you move over that way, you instead find yourself shunted in this direction.
That's not helping me. I'll get rid of that thing.
I'm gonna go the wrong way here in a second, and it's gonna send me all the way back to where everyone else is. And I'm gonna be pissed.
Giant! You hear John
Warning
shout out.
Yes.
I'm going to make a guess. Run directly forward now. All the way to the end.
All right. Oops. There.
As you run forward, you find yourself not affected at all. You just run straight forward. John Frew seems to, if anyone else looks back, he seems to be rather full of himself, not full of himself, but he seems to smile a little bit. He seems to be rather proud of his accomplishment. He says, as I expected, the wards that look like that, they seem to affect you based on cardinal direction. Then those would go this way. He starts drawing lines in his hand. He tries something again. But what do these do? Steps on it. And he tries to turn, and as soon as he turns, he finds himself ejected back this way. Joe just stands there. He's having no part of all this.
Yep.
Okay. I think it's a sign of a strong man to admit when he's afraid or scared or just I'm fucking confused. What's going on?
John seems to think about it a bit. He says, does anyone have paper? Some kind of chalk?
If I had paper, it would be destroyed by now.
This is a problem. Giant, see if you can find some kind of writing utensil on that side of the room. Perhaps we can use it to make a diagram of what I'm seeing.
Alright. Well, I've got a log book and an ink pen.
That will do perfectly. See if you can toss it here.
Well, at least it's only paper and.
Oh, it's a book at least. It's not
Yeah.
papers.
And
Alright.
again, the pen could hurt.
Alright. He'll try and toss the stuff to Frau.
Make a ranged touch attack. Or actually just make a ranged attack on him.
Okay.
Yeah, ranged touch actually, because you're just trying to hit him.
How do I make it touch again?
Yeah, go ahead and make a touch, sorry.
How do I do that again?
Oh, you go to the plus minus and you click the touch button.
Boop. Okay.
No, God, you killed him.
He catches it. And as he sits there and seems to go still for a moment as he's writing. He lets the remaining few of you continue trying to get through the strange, elaborate maze of illusion. Damien, your movement actually succeeds. You stand right there. Find yourself shunted this way, Lion.
Apparently, I'm coming to see you, John.
Damien, as you move, you find yourself shunted in the opposite direction.
These are confusing.
That's that one. No, as you move that way, instead you move this way.
Neat.
You move this way, Lion. Your move succeeds, Lion. Damien, you instead find yourself shunted backwards somehow. Noah, yours moves you to where Tamian formerly was.
Interesting.
Noah, you are shunted back into Tamian. Lion, your move succeeds. That is a brazier. Sean, you can probably light it. There seems to be a fine charcoal ash in it, as if it had once been lit. If you have a fuel of some kind, you can light it and light up the room. Let's see. That, unfortunately, will send you this direction, Lion.
I'm a coming, Berg.
That sends you this way, Shanoa.
Okay.
Damien, that will shunt you in this direction. At this point, John Frew seems to finish what he was furiously scribbling. He says, "Here, young man, take this." He tosses an item to you, Damien.
Okay.
We'll just use his pick to hit you with it. Clearly throwing his pick at you. Damien,
However,
you're tossed.
the pick is shunted over into.
It throws into Shanoa's face. Damien, you're given a picture that's not quite this detailed, but it reveals this. No, as you do that, you instead go this way.
Yes. What's it look like, Damien?
Berg, as you move over to the rest of the table, you see a few things on it. What seems to be a small card of some kind with an illustration on it, as well as what appears to be a buckler. Nothing of amazing use, just some old dilapidated things that someone had laid them here a long time ago, and they were never picked up again.
I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. It would require experimentation.
Oh.
These runes, I do not have training in the magical arts as far as arcane mastery goes. My order is more dedicated to pursuing justice and eliminating thieves and others who would scoff at it. Would be more in the hands of a wizard.
Well, I think I get part of it. Let me see here.
Bird, make a search check in the tower.
Okay.
As you guys are fumbling about trying to figure out this maze here, you end up you see Berg along the way. He seems to be, checking a small box at the end of the room. You hear him shuffling about. Berg, by the way, you're in complete darkness, although you can see a little bit from the light in the bars, so you can see the chest.
Okay. I was hoping they weren't seeing me.
No, unfortunately they're going to see you. They hear you moving about. You're not making move silently checks.
Well, I figured they were concentrating on where they were walking and looking at the picture and stuff.
Sorry. Unfortunately, yes. See, there's light coming from out here that would shine in through the bars at least 1 square's width, so they can see you over here. Or at least they will see you standing in front of something and then kneeling down and starting to mess with something and hear it. Anyways, you don't find anything particularly interesting in your search.
Okay.
Tamian, as you walk forward, you stand there.
Does the ladder appear to go up and outside, or is it just leaning up against nothing?
The ladder seems to go up to a trapdoor of some kind.
Okay.
Through the cracks of which you can see what seems to be there seems to be some soot falling from it, as well as you can see an orange flickering light.
First I want to test the ladder.
The ladder, for its age, appears to be rather sturdy.
Okay, I want to climb up and put my hand against the trapdoor.
Okay. As you move up and put your hand against the trapdoor, it feels rather warm, and it also feels incredibly heavy.
Alright, he'll climb back down.
Yeah.
He'd shout back to the others, there's a trapdoor at the top of this ladder, but I'm worried there may be a fire on the other side. There's orange flickering light coming through, and it's very warm.
One problem at a time.
Throw a rope down here, Berg, and pull me through it.
Then we both get...
Dimensional anomaly. It'd
be like speedrunners when you both hook on the other side of something. Oh.
Okay. Okay, that one works.
Okay.
John Frew tries something, and he tries to run across here. He just says, alright, I'm going to test my theory. And as he starts running across, which that would be 35, he kind of gets shunted a bit in a strange direction. As he takes a moment to stop and look around, he says, I think I've solved part of it. Seems as if well, none of you would understand what I'm saying. He looks back to Taveney and says, it seems as the ones that are kind of squiggly, they make you go in the direction you intend, but the others seem to change your direction depending on where you are running from them. He points at the tile next to you and says, if you go this way, it will then, on the second tile, shunt you somewhat to the right, as long as you are still trying to proceed forward.
So like this.
Lion, as you move front, you suddenly are shunted back. Well, let's see, you're trying to move that way. You get shunted this way. He says, no, if you move to the tile where he indicates this tile right here, the one that it's pointing at. If you move forward on that one, you'll proceed to the next one. But if you try to move forward on that one, you'll be shunted this way.
Oh, okay.
It seems to be in relation to where you're moving or attempting to move to, and the tile and how it will move you.
So this should move me this way. Thinking.
Yep, that one, as you run forward trying to test it, you are shunted this way.
Okay.
Berg just kind of haphazardly moved through the maze and somehow got through and touched with everybody. It's the best.
I'm gonna move to the bars, and are they wood or are they metal or what are they?
They're a very, very heavy wood. They seem to be a portcullis of some kind. You can see that they seem to recede into the wall, or into, not into the wall, but into the ceiling. You don't seem to very clearly see a switch. However, beyond the bars, you do see the channel in full.
Can I test the wood and see if it's rotten like a lot of the other stuff is?
You can.
Okay.
Alright. As you reach out and grab hold of the bars and you kind of like pull them to just kind of get an idea for them, you feel that this wood appears very smooth. It's been lacquered down and it's been preserved very well. It was meant to stand the test of time and also resist entry.
Ooh,
You can also tell that
Mr.
it has
Fruit.
little wooden, little iron bandings across little bits of it, binding them together. What's worth? Sorry?
Mr. Fruit, if you were to move left now, it'd move you upwards, I think, or northwards.
I'll try it. Lion, as you try to move that direction, you're suddenly thrust against some rubble. And then you lose your balance and fall into this square. Mr. Fruit tries Tamian's suggestion and finds himself shunted up. It's as you say.
Right.
You may have the key to solving this puzzle.
Well, the one that looks like est, yeah, it'll move you to the right of wherever you're trying to go when you step onto it. If you remember your drawing.
He can actively see it.
Oh, right, okay. I forgot about that. Alright,
He nods
so,
and says, "Very well. I will attempt to keep that in mind. Do you know anything of the other runes?"
not quite yet. Let me see what this one here does. The lift.
As you move forward, Tamian, you're suddenly shunted in this direction.
Okay. The lift is like the opposite of the S, I think, where it'll move you to the left of where you're trying to go.
All of a sudden, Lion just lets out an animalistic growl and just starts running.
And,
No, wait.
let me see here. Hang on a second.
No, seriously, he does.
He's there.
All right.
He's running out of patience here, people.
I could be wrong, but I think if you try to move forward now, Mr. Frew, you'll run into the lift, which should put you over to the one to the left of that, and I'd imagine that would push you downwards, southwards.
He tries to do as you say. He says, "I will see." As he starts stepping forward, he finds himself shunted in this direction.
Oh, right.
So the rune I was standing on was one of the lifts, as you mentioned. Now I am on top of the Sh.
Okay.
He's using your terminology. You're the one. You're the one.
I know. So, try now to move to the south towards me. Just straight south.
He says, "Hold on, young one.
Okay.
Knight, run towards me with all your strength. That is the method that I use to get past that part." Charge at me like you're going to try and run past me and run me down, and then strike the foe behind. As you belt into a very strong run, Lion, you find yourself progressing. Very good. There seems to be a pattern. Anyways, he says, as you were, young one, where did you say to go now?
Try to move to the south, maybe?
As he does, he finds himself shunted back.
Oh.
No, well, back towards his goal, of course, just...
Right. And then...
Berg, as you start searching through the crate ahead, in clear eyesight of everybody, although not really clear, you're in the dark, you're a dark shadow moving about, trying to pick stuff. You don't really find a whole lot. It looks like linen used to be in this, and it has largely rotted away, or rather not even rotted. As you inspect it, it seems to have holes in it. Moths have taken to this fabric.
Okay, and we're gonna check this one then. There's gotta be something in here.
As you check through this one, you find a large number of things. Very, very miscellaneous storage almost. You see little wooden toys, among other things. Various little handicrafts. It almost appears as if this used to be a storage area for some manner of woodworking store or carpenter. And you also find a small steel mirror in it. About the only thing that you can see any general use for, unless you happen to be visiting an orphanage soon. And you want to make the kids smile.
I'll take the mirror.
Yep. See. You get the feeling that this guy didn't just say, I hope that the adventurers come and loot all my stuff, because they'll find all the goodies that they need. No, he's just storing a bunch of shit. I'm placing the mirror small steel in your inventory. It is currently floating. Please place it in a container.
Okay.
Damien, let's see. You run forward 2 squares. You end up going this way.
Okay, right. So now, Mr. Frew, if you move towards the box there, you should be beyond the barrier.
He points and he says, this one.
Right, move towards that.
I will do so. And of course, he is shunted.
Okay.
He says, ha, you are correct. I believe you understand this puzzle.
Alright, I do. Okay. So... Alright, I'll get you through, Lion, and then I'll get Shinoa through. I'm probably gonna have to guide DD myself.
He moves over to join, look for Berg, who has, at this point, stepped beyond the light and is behind something. He says, Giant, where are you? Hold fast and I will light this. Help me pry some wood off of these crates to use as fuel.
Alright, I'm gonna look in the crate to my left first, so I was over there. See what's in it.
More handy things. Nothing amazing in it, but let's see. Well, we don't know if there's something amazing in it. Let's see. No, there is something amazing in it. Well, maybe not amazing, but you know what I mean. Let's
Lion,
see.
try to move to that spot just ahead of you there.
Berg, as you're digging around in various things, you find a set of boxes. Some of them only have what appear to be old, like, sketches and books that seem to be just personal journals, nothing of note in them. But you do happen to find a small satchel that seems to have about 5 platinum coins in it.
Ooh. Yoink.
So Berg, he's running right there. He finds himself shunted to the right. Oop.
Said 5.
Okay.
Yep, 5.
Okay, now what?
Alright,
I'll assist him on trying to rip some wood off of that.
Okay. We'll just say you give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And you clearly get a little bit of wood, you gather it up into the brazier. And he produces a pack of flint and steel from one of his belt pouches. Because that is, nicely immune to water.
Alright, Lion, try to run forward to that spot there towards the middle of that other box.
And he produces a torch that lights the area. Or, well, rather, not 30 speed. I think a torch is only 20, but, you know.
Alright, I would mention to him about the possible fire above the ladder. There seems to be a way out,
25.
but I'm worried it may be more danger than we're in now.
Yes, I think you might be right. It sounds as if the old man's shop seems to have been affected by whatever kind of hellish scene is above.
Alright, Lion, one step back towards where you just came from, to your right. Okay, now you should be able to just move straight forward. Get past the barrier.
I'm gonna try.
Lion, as you run forward towards the light where John Frew is waiting, you see Berg moving about, looking at the bars and such, and you have managed to successfully move through. Now Tamian and Shanoa are left in darkness.
Hey.
Tamian, you find this to be rather interfering with your ability to read the paper that you have.
That's understandable. Tamian will go ahead and cast his own light spell on himself.
You had a light spell prepared?
I had 2 light spells prepared.
Oh, okay. Good job.
That's why I got one for...
I thought I had checked earlier, but I was like, you didn't have Detect Magic or nothing. I gotcha. Cool.
Alright.
The day I was born.
Berg is gonna try, and you said the gate goes up or goes down? It goes up, right?
The gate goes up.
Where's my cheat sheet?
Alright, he's
There
gonna
it
try
is.
and lift on it and see if it even budges at all.
Okay.
A strength check.
Alright, I gotta work. Who's out here? Shanoa. Damien's kind of looking down at his sheet here, and
See, I told you guys I knew this was going to take a little while. Alright, so what I'm going to do, Berg, I'll let you know the results of your check in just a second.
Okay.
Damien, Shanoa, y'all work out your roleplay and everything, and also get your instructions, and I will go to the bathroom real quick, and as soon as I return, if you have any outstanding movements, I will calculate them accordingly.
okay.
So where am I going to go? I mean, Tamian. Whatever the fuck your name is.
Okay. I wonder if I can do this all in one move and make it look really fucking badass. No, because then you have to check every rune along the way. Okay. Let me just see here. I remember how these went. So, do that. Okay. Where am I? Here. And he's gonna move up a step, and he's gonna say to keep it easy, Shanoa, start off by walking to that spot there. That'll get you out of the maze, we may as well call it. No. now where Tamian's walking to, yeah.
No!
I forgot my pointer has to be a little pointer, otherwise it'll just vanish when I make lines.
I bet he got the idea of this from watching my Let's Play of Undertale. Watching how much I hated doing that shit.
Now that move will put you right there when he moves you.
Be right back.
I will clean the snake's cages. I hope Blizzard's music is like their games.
What?
I'm playing music from Warcraft for my stream for this, and they don't care about you streaming their games. So I'm hoping they don't care about you streaming their music.
No.
Care immensely.
Well, I got in trouble the other day. Not in trouble, but I had part of my audio was cut off for that. It was kind of annoying. It's like, look, no one's coming here because of the music. No one's coming here at all.
And I'm back.
Alright. This maze is terrible. Especially because all the tiles look the same.
Hey, Sean, I found a feat for you.
What's that? What is it?
There you go.
Oh.
Very interesting. I'll have to get another one. If you're going to be going heavy armor, you might want to get the other one.
Ah. Yeah, I did see that one.
The one that you have to get for it
Mm-hmm.
lessens the armor check penalty by 1, increases the armor bonus by 1.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. And for swim checks, that's down.
Yeah, that's pretty helpful on swim checks.
But yeah, that other one, the deflective armor, that would be, as long as you're psionically focused, your armor accounts for your touch attack AC too. That would make you very hard to hit.
That's good, because I tend to get hit a lot.
And of course, there's greater heavy armor optimism, which lessens the armor check by 2 and the armor check by 1. That with heavy armor optimization, which makes the armor check penalty by a total of 3 armor. Thing as what we have is a -6.
Yep.
-3. Then, of course, it's +2 to actual harder. Then there's powerful charge and greater powerful charge. Count for larger special attacks. Imagine that this would also benefit. Then you do 2d6 extra damage on charge attack. As for And again, I could get improved. Be able to equipment.
Alright, sorry about that. Had to go do some stuff, get the cats in and all that. Oh wow, only 5 foot steps?
Yeah, it's too much for me to really try to work out a whole path to go into, like...
There's no steps this way, she goes this way.
Okay.
And Damien, as he steps that way, he continues.
Okay, so he says, okay, Shanoa, just, if you could stand, just a little bit ahead of Dee Dee on the left there of her.
Okay.
So, Berg, as you sit there and you muster all your might against the gate, you manage to lift it. You pull it up about halfway, and it you're able to hold it there. You'll probably be able to get a lot of people under it, including yourself, as long as you can hold it there. It is resisting you somewhat, but you can tell that with some effort, you can probably get it up.
Alright. He would shout to John?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he would shout to him. See if he can find something to wedge under this.
He says, I will. One moment. Looks around the room, searching for things.
For treasure. Let's search for treasure.
Sir Knight, please, help me look. I imagine the giant cannot hold it for long.
Alright. Go over here looking.
Okay. You see lots of rocks. And a crate. This crate's rather large, though. So Shinoa moves over here.
Are there any rocks big enough to, like, put under it?
There are a few, but they're all very round. It would be very difficult to keep it in place.
Tina says, okay, now just take 3 steps to the north. Just, 3 steps straight forward towards me, basically. Just maybe shut your eyes so that you don't confuse yourself when I'm... Just take 3 steps north.
Move there?
Right. But... Yeah, as if you're just coming up to my side. Okay. Now... Okay. So, now take 2 steps forwards, and then take 1 step directly back, like you're gonna back right up into me. So 2 steps forwards to right behind me here, and then try to turn around and come back the other way.
So, wait. So do that, and then...
Yep, and then try to move right back towards me. Just 1 step.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Alright, I search the crate to see if there's...
Okay. Now, you should be able to just move straight north. Just take a big old run straight north, and you should get out fine.
Yeah, make a dash for it.
Let's see. Yep,
Alright. So I guess I can keep on going, hopefully.
Okay.
you can.
Yeah.
So, Lion, as you search that crate, you notice that the hatch on it has already been removed. However, inside there looks to be a lot of moth-eaten linens, as if this would have been a stockpile of cloth and fabric. Suddenly, John calls out and he says, "There's a barrel of some kind of substance over here. It looks like it's very heavy. It seems to have, putrid water. It must have spoiled over its time. But it may be sturdy enough to try and hold up the gate."
Sounds good to me. I ain't finding nothing but except moth-eaten linens over here.
Yes, unfortunately. 15. Go this way.
Okay. Trying to think how I'm gonna get DD through it.
Can you carry DD?
I'm wondering if I am strong enough to, because I don't think I am.
He kind of dances about and runs in circles. You know, she seems really excited.
Could just
Okay.
have her follow you.
And
But the
Lion,
thing is, if
points-
she tries,
but
sorry, I was gonna say if she tries to follow me directly, she might see me suddenly like. No, I guess that makes sense. She can just follow me.
I have an idea. So, Lion, he says, my strength has not completely returned to me. I'll have to rely on your constitution to carry this. That said, I'm going to check on the young mage. Perhaps he has found... Oh, the other one is here now. Perhaps he has found the secret after all.
The other one. Oh, you.
Let's see.
Start dragging this, or if I can pick it up.
So
Go to
John
get
moves up and he says, Young one, what has you worried? Come,
Oh.
we must leave here as soon as possible.
I'm sorry. I'm just bringing my bringing DD through here, and he just kind of tells her to follow him very close, directly behind.
Oh, that's all you're worried about. Tell her to come to me. I believe I understand something of this.
Oh, all right. So then yes, he'll tell DD go over by the blue man.
I'm colorblind, kid.
Oh yeah.
Dee kind of
Over.
looks and tilts and she gets really excited and she just bolts towards him. Full speed. Ah! And what happens is most peculiar.
What?
We're almost done with it. I'm just showing you the original
Oh.
solution to the puzzle. Yeah, it was actually very straightforward. You were in the right place. Get it?
Okay.
Straightforward.
Right. So Taman kind of looks at his notes. He's like, oh, okay. Well, he will also just sort of shut his eyes and just start walking towards that area, like Dee Dee just did.
But it only works for quadrupeds.
Oh shit, suddenly Tammy gets thrown some rocks. Yeah, see, this was a fun puzzle to make. I knew it was going to be shit, like you guys are going to be here forever.
Did it soon enough.
What's that?
Did it soon enough.
And then rocks fall.
40 minutes. You know, that actually is probably worth mentioning. As you guys have done all this, you know, the loud, resounding thuds seem to have grown more distant. They're still there. You can hear them. But they're not shaking the earth. They're loosening dust on the ceiling now. It almost seems as if something has interceded and has stopped them from hitting directly. Oh, whoops. The bars are probably on top of the barrel, not on the bottom. All right.
So much light.
Lion props the barrel underneath it, and now there is a small hole that you can climb through on this side.
Alright, I'm gonna... Alright. I'm gonna ease it down onto the barrel a little bit and see if it seems like it's gonna hold.
Okay. As you start to ease it down, the barrel, you start to hear the sound of wood bending, but it doesn't bend. The barrel seems to, kind of creak and crack under the weight of the thing, but as you lay it down completely, you just kind of very gently take your hands off of it. It seems to all come to a very nice equilibrium. The portcullis is now suspended.
Alright, he's going under first. That way, if it happens to break the barrel, I can lift it from this side.
Is there anything in this room that would be useful?
Not that I've seen, but I didn't check the chest to my left.
Oh.
I was wary of traps. Or some other magic.
You climb through with relatively no problems. That said, as you move forward, Lion, you look at the chest. You also notice something. You notice a small buckler sitting on the table there, as well as what appears to be a small card of some kind with an illustration. John immediately fixes on it, if you are paying attention, and he stares at it. He says, "Huh, the old man must have met a fool in his journey. He has one of the Jester's cards."
Jester's cards.
Ah, there's a name for them. But they're men of divination and seers. They seem to carry around their cards and expect them to be blessed by the arcane arts. I find it to be foolish.
Gonna be right back.
I take the buckler and the card and tell everyone to go through, and I'll check the chest by myself.
Alright,
Okay.
In case it is trapped.
I'm gonna step out of the way.
The card you have received, Lion, is this one. It looks like this.
Interesting. And there it goes.
Well, whoops. I forgot, your stuff explodes whenever you see stuff.
Maps and shit don't do anything. It's just, pictures, apparently. Give it a minute, it'll fix it. But yeah, he tells everybody else to go through while waits. When
Everyone
Tamian
else go through, I'm gonna loot the stuff.
and when Tamian goes to go by, he hands him the card and says, "Here, you might be interested in that."
Here, this
Why are you handing him a card? Why would he do that?
this fries my brain.
Well, he's noticed that he's been kind of like interested in magical stuff, and the guy said that they thought that there was arcane magic on the cards, so the guy that's interested in magical.
I mean, what's it look like?
I'll show you in just a moment. If you would, well, I'll do it in a second.
I mean, actually, it says, suggests though, like, Lion, just in case anything does go wrong, I'd rather be on this side so I can get to you. Well, I mean, I guess actually, no, I might as well just go under because I can just come back if you happen to.
I would rather you away from the chest if it does explode.
Okay, that does make sense because I can just come back. But don't worry if it does. I'll get you conscious.
Lion, as you pick up the buckler, it does something rather astounding. As soon as you pick it up, it seems to almost come to life, glowing in your hands. Doesn't have a particularly terrible glow, but it does glow nonetheless.
Lantern buckler.
Lantern, the
Yes.
buckler, powerful, muffler buckler.
So is it glowing like the light spell that I have on my sword,
No.
apparently?
None anywhere near as strong. It's just glowing. In fact, I am going to do something here to get rid of the buckler on the map. Pull the card as it has been picked up. No. And Tamian, the card you have received looks a little something like this. If If you would like,
no.
go ahead and add an item to your inventory. Or rather, I'll do it. Just don't worry about that.
I zoomed in and it made everything freak out. Alright. It's like,
It's cursed. Yay.
Indian's looking at it, he's like, it looks neat. Like, it's a pretty little drawing. He's kind of like, you know, he's looking at it, he's like, it's really like, I like the little things on it. He's got like a frog or something on her head. He's like, he shows it to Shinoa while they're waiting, like, look at it, it's neat.
Shinoa slaps it into the water.
John Brew just slaps it into the... You know, John Brew, oddly enough, seems to be very approving of this.
Well, he's
It's
just
trash. Trash goes in the trash can.
and then he just thinks it's neat.
He holds 2 slices of bread up and puts them over each side of the card and says, "What is this?"
Hard
Idiot
sandwich.
sandwich. Alright. Let's see.
Okay, so I set my greatsword down, get my shield out, put it in front of me while I'm kneeling. Gotta open the chest.
Okay.
Use both shields.
Use the shield. Na 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 na.
You know what? Yeah, I put the buckler on my right arm, and I hold my other shield up with my left arm, and I go to open it with my right arm.
Alright, Tammy and I'm adding the card to your inventory.
That's max.
Alright.
That's full defense.
One
Maybe
second.
in
Sorry, you're doing some other stuff. It's labeled.
I don't think I can total defense and open a chest at the same time.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's what you call total defense, is when you have a shield on each hand.
There used to be a homebrewed class called the Shield Warrior. They got an ability at like level 3 or 4, something like that, that made it to where they could attack with shields and it would equal the damage of a sword of equal size. Like a buckler was a dagger, and a regular shield was a short sword, and a heavy shield was a long sword, and a tower shield was a great sword.
Let's see. Alright, Lion. Wait, shit. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Turtle mode, go.
Lion, as you open up the box, you don't find a whole lot other than a couple of musty old tomes and a small satchel that seems to have been filled with coins of various make. When you add it all up, as you take some time, you manage to find that this was worth about 100 gold pieces, and yeah, it's about worth 100 gold pieces, and honestly, you can add that to your inventory as 100 gold pieces. The items inside, they seem to be deeds, old tomes that seem to have personal diaries and journals, maybe a ledger or two of some transactions that were made. Almost as this was this guy's, fire safe that he put down here in case fire happened, like people do in modern times.
How big and heavy is the chest?
The chest is likely going to weigh, because just from the sheer amount of documents and stuff in it, it's going to weigh at least 20 to 30 pounds. I mean, it's about 5 feet by 5 feet, even though it's not really 5 feet, I guess. Just chock full with all these things in it.
Damien also, while he's doing that, he's showing the card to Shinoa and Berg, which is why he said that.
I take some of the D.
There is one deed. I'm sorry.
Oh.
There's not like multiple deeds, and this guy was not a mogul who owned the entire town. Sorry, that was a misspeak on my part. But yeah, you can take one of the deeds if you like.
Okay.
It's mine now.
I take the deed and then I kind of lean over towards the gate, and I say, "Hey, there's a bunch of old papers and books in here. Not the reading type, but there might be something you guys are interested in."
John looks over and he says, "We don't have time for this. Something is happening to the surface above. We must get up top."
Grab the coolest looking one and let's go.
I grabbed the coolest looking book, apparently.
Coolest looking book is more than likely a small collection of receipts.
It was like, oh,
Second
right, sorry.
coolest looking book?
The second coolest looking book is more than likely a ledger that details a few contacts in town who purchased things.
That sounds
It's almost
good.
like it was meant to be partnered with the Book of Receipts.
Screw it, I'll leave them. I just take the deed.
I told you what was in this box. It
I know,
was
but
nothing
you-
amazing.
You also said there was just some old tomes and like that, and then you
I said
went
there were
on to
old-
list
there
all
were
the
old
other stuff.
tomes with journals and receipts, a deed or some deeds. I meant to say a deed. It's shop stuff. Unless you're
Okay.
trying to get the guy's birth certificate for some reason, you have no reason to get stuff out of it. The money was the draw.
So yeah, for everything else, I take the money and the deed.
All right. Prue begins hobbling this way.
Then I pick up my greatsword and work my way under the thing. And of course, I put my shield up back on my back before I pick it up.
Okay.
Alright.
Crap. We
Y'all
gotta
left
get
the-
back into the frickin' water.
You left the brazier there. Now the brazier is going to catch fire and burn everything down.
That's fine.
I didn't set it on fire.
Aren't they made to not do that? Like,
Yeah, I'm joking.
I know, it's just funny now that I think about it. Like, yeah, what if someone did leave their torch going? I guess that's why they leave it in a metal container, basically.
Which I mean, I don't have anything. Put it out anyway.
There's like a whole poop water channel right there.
Yeah, it's just getting the poop water over to it.
Put it in your
And then
helmet.
the smell of the poop water burning or sizzling on the fire or embers.
Put it in your helmet and then put it back on.
No, sir.
Alright. So for what it's worth, you guys notice there's another cistern behind you. Although it does not look to be populated at this time, so you don't have to worry about Oat-Yugs.
Fuck those.
Or could you move this board so it crosses this way?
Sure.
Sure, kid.
I do that. That was me grabbing it and bringing it over here.
I do the thing that I was requested to do.
Affirmative.
Affirmative. You place the
Berg.
board and you start to expand it with your mind in order to make a bridge. But then suddenly you accidentally make a plant beast.
A plant beast. No. No.
And it's like, yes!
Wow, 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 wow.
I want to do knowledge nature.
Breakdance battle.
Immediately
Berg,
plant beast dies.
a word mover.
I use knowledge fist.
You learn about the individual fingers in your fist.
Yes.
That's the pinky and the ring finger.
So as you and Dee clearly leaps across the channel. As you guys move over the channel there, I should have put this on the other side. Why did I do that? Just pretend it's there for right now. But yeah, as you guys are crossing, you notice something, Damien. This is the place where the man in the leather armor seemed to move past.
Mm.
Let's see if we reveal this and you guys remember.
Yeah, I remember because there's a little face there.
Me.
I don't remember why you drew it, but I remember it was related.
I don't
Oh
remember.
yeah, because he cracked the board apart
Yeah.
with his chain.
That was the dead face, yeah.
Doesn't look like a dead face, but I got you.
Mad face, whatever it was. I don't know what
Yeah.
it was.
So
Yeah.
this is where he had moved across. That rock pile is slightly too far. It's actually more on this side. It seems to have almost completely covered that part of the gate there that he had closed earlier. As you guys are walking, you see a much sturdier sort of platform ahead. Yep, that is exactly the one. Good job.
This is where that man ran across, got it past us, Mr. Frau. He came through this way here, and then...
Yes, it seems like he was running through the sewers. If he continued along this path and turned to the left up here, he would have head back to the entrance. Oh, Captain Jack,
Wait.
showing a man what.
I thought he went that way. There's nothing there.
He leapt across and then ran across this board and then ran that way.
No, but Tamian, when he saw, he thought he ran to the left, but to the left it's just like nothing.
Oh, I see. I see. There's any
So
number
went
of
this
ways
way.
he could have turned.
Slippery bastard.
I'm going to go ahead and take some liberties here because I'm imagining. Well, we'll go ahead and do this for a second. Just continue doing as your line as you walk forward.
Wait. As soon as he gets there, jumps.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make a jump check. Sure, kid. Whatever you say. Lion, as you run forward and you kick off the board, your force actually manages to crack the board underneath you, and you just fall in. You're like every one of those fail videos where someone tries to jump off the diving board.
And then here's a splash, and he's like, oh.
John Fu turns around just in time to see, as he hears the crack in the board, and he sees Lion just go completely submerged suddenly, and the board falling down in there. He says, "Quickly, he may need assistance." He
Alright.
starts running back.
Do I have to roll a swim to see if I can right myself up or whatever?
Yes, I mean with the impact you're going down, and there's a lot of shit in your way, so it is much different from a normal situation. That will not right you, but you will not start dying, I guess.
I've got to get that crystal.
Berg, can you reach him alright? Do you need help?
Little angel appears on Lion's shoulder and says, "Should not have tried to jump."
I don't know if I can
just
quite.
scowl at it and daggers come out of my eyes and attack it.
Got knives in my eyes. I'm going to bed. As long as he promises not to pull it again, I'll reach my Ransoir out towards where the flailing is going on, so he has something to grab hold of.
All right, so your Ransoir, if you're up on the wall side here, is 10 feet long. I guess technically you could, huh?
Yep.
All right. I'm just to speed this along. You do find the Ransoir, and you are able to stand with it, Lion. And as soon as you come above the poo water, you're holding on to it, and it's unfortunate and terrible. But you are able to move normally. Normal as you can in water. I guess your light spell is not completely diminished now. Since it is a light spell after all. Now we play the game where we look in your stuff and see if anything died because you've gotten poo water again. Nope.
All of your food.
Well, I hope not. I've been in the water already before.
Yeah, but I always check just in case you pick something up that I wasn't aware of or I didn't pay attention to.
No.
Berg picked up a blank.
A blank.
Blank?
Oh, it's
Yep.
It's the mirror.
Berg, as you move closer, Jean Fru, he seems to stare at you and say, he says, well, he lets Lion pass politely because he's cool like that. He's being rather inconspicuous.
As line passes, he says, "I hate them."
Let's see. He looks to you and he says, I notice while I was looking back for the young man who fell into the water, you seem to have a small glowing jewel in your pocket.
No, I was just happy to see you. No. Yeah, he'd say, yeah, we picked that up a while back. I have no idea what it is or what it's used for.
Yes, I just noted it is magical, and it seems to be very serene, almost like the ocean waves itself. Thought it was strange, and it resonates with me, given my nature.
Well, perhaps once we get to safety, maybe you can give it a look over.
Perhaps.
Alright, I'll go to here. This looks like a fairly decent bridge, right?
The lion just crossed it?
I'm still bigger than he is, though.
Yeah. As you move across the bridge with trepidation, you hear a small groan from the wood, a small bending almost. It seems to wobble underneath you like you're on so much of a trampoline. You manage to cross safely.
Yay! The first time ever!
Maybe you should bring that bridge, huh?
That thing is nailed down if you can see the rivet.
Get the claw hammer.
Get the claw hammer. We're taking this with us.
Get the ram.
It's as big as like 4 bergs or 8 bergs. Okay, now I'm going to speed things up a bit because this is going to be a very large, very straight shot.
Okay.
Because it goes like so. And I'm going to do this. Everybody walks along this highway. Bird phases into a wall. Okay. Well, shit. I didn't mean to select everybody again. Like Berg. Alright, as you guys move along in your normal manner and fashion, you make a large number of efforts here. You come along to a familiar gate. This is the one you saw each time you entered. In fact, there seems to be a board there labeled "No Here Either."
Alright. The gate's on our side.
The gate is on your side, and it appears that there is a small lever nearby the actual gate. The grate itself is pretty much almost seamless, but there is a lever right here on the wall.
Alright, I'll pull the lever.
You suddenly get shocked with like 1,000 volts of electricity.
That's okay.
That's a joking. As you pull it, the gate right here seems to slide into the wall with a rusty groan and opens the path towards the entrance of the sewers. Right across. We are almost home free. It will be good to get out of here for once. Be among my brothers and among that which is not fetid and terrible.
Yeah, hopefully nothing too serious is going on up there.
Actually,
seems pretty serious.
To find out anything about what might have been causing plague, whatever it's called.
I do not know for sure, but I believe it was the Otyuke's presence. The foul things are filthy. They exacerbate any plague that might already exist, and they pollute everything they touch. They've been murking about in here. Who knows what their tentacles have found their way into, whether it's been in groundwater, whether they've been lashing out at those above. We have heard tales of... The reason I came down here is we had heard tales from the people living in the slums that, creatures were crawling up from outside, from grates, terrible mutated vermin, filthy, horrible tentacles were reaching out and thrashing the citizens. It was from there that the filth came, and it seemed to spread like wildfire. I believe it were the Otyuke's doing. The only problem is they did not seem to be here. They did not seem to have a nest. It was almost as if when I came down, they were in the process of making one. They were wandering aimlessly. Something brought them here. I do not know what. And once I am in better shape, I will continue to search for what it was. My money, however, is on that man.
The
Bad man.
We found a big hole down to basically nowhere with a tree that should be from the Underdark.
Ah, yes, the foul realm of the Drow and the terrible Sutsvelten. Those creatures need to stay in their world. That said, I do not believe the Oatyuk would have come from there. Unless this is some foul machination from the denizens of the dark, the hobgoblins, and the Khanate. I do not think it was them. That cavern must have just opened recently, or perhaps it was open for a long time since. But out of it have crept only kobolds, troglodytes, and other foul denizens. I see no reason to think that they may have tried to corrupt this city themselves. At least not without some level of organization.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get out of here. We can talk later.
Yes,
Sure,
let's do
sure.
this. Oh, that's not there. He falls in!
No! There's no there.
John,
Is this
John,
up to the ceiling or can we walk across it?
you can, that's... What's up to the ceiling, though?
The rocks and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a gigantic event. That's the one you heard
Okay.
originally. The one that sounded like it was like the whole fucking place falling apart.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Indian will make his way across and if there's any checks, okay.
No, you're okay. And so as you guys walk along, you manage to exit the sewers with minimal problems. Nothing bursts out of the water, nothing suddenly appears ahead of you and destroys you in any terrible fashion. Hellion himself does not appear and decide to fireball you to oblivion and back.
Bastard's still alive when Quibor is it? Motherfucker.
Who knows? But anyways,
I'm gonna have to remedy that.
so anyways,
By
As you
bringing
guys
Quibor
exit-
back.
as you guys are approaching the grate to exit the sewers there, you start to smell the terrible stench of smoke and smoldering flames, and along with it, sometimes you smell the charred smell of death. Along with that, you hear thunderous noises as you start to approach the gates, the grate that exits the sewers, almost as if there's some kind of terrible thunderous cannon that's smashing against something at a distance. And I will close that map because we are out of the sewers. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I hope they don't get mad at me.
What?
There's some sort of like war going on. It seems like they keep blaming stuff on me like that.
You did it. Well, for what it's worth, you may not know, but the war is between the Morans, who have declared their independence in so many words of attack, and the it's actually more of an insurrection, so to speak. The Moors have begun an insurrection, and that is against the capital county, which is Melika. So it's actually nothing to do with the place they're accusing you of being from. But they don't like you nonetheless. Okay.
Damn dirty elf lover.
Elf lover. There are plenty of elves in Lionel who are cool. It's just those from Volar who have come in without any level of indication or, announcement, they're suspected of because they're dangerous.
Show me your papers. I don't have any.
Show me your papers.
I'm a bush hippie.
Arrest him! So anyways, as you guys emerge from the grate, you find yourself in the city. The city itself looks to be terrible. There's whole little sections that seem to be just having little erupting plumes of smoke as if something hit with a drastically terrible amount of force. You see soldiers running forth down paths and everything, just mobilizing through the city, and you see what looks to be a completely transparent barrier above the northwestern side of the city over in this direction. And every single time something seems to, a mass of power energy seems to, who just moved that? Stop.
I didn't mean to. I was trying to move the map.
You bastard. Anyways, as you see, you see these large, massive bursts of power and energy just sailing through the air, slamming into what would normally be the city, it seems to catch on this barrier. The barrier seems to activate and just completely dissipate the shot, but not without having its explosion and its force and everything start taking effect. Every time it hits, it's almost as if a miniature sonic boom is exploding nearby. And every one of you is just kind of like almost deafened at the sound. Surely the city has become a war zone, but what is it under attack from?
Sounds like it's
I bet it's them damn Indies.
What's that?
Hit me.
Yeah.
I said, I bet it's them damn Indies.
What?
John's walking with you at this point. He's saying,
Oh, yeah.
I do not believe it is the Indusians. They already have enough problems with their own war with Kerrigan, as always, and pestering Soul. Though it would not surprise me in the least if they'd sent a raiding party. This, however, stinks of siege weaponry. More than likely, the Duke has already sent out several patrols to find the perpetrators and strike down their siege weaponry squads. Once they find them, they will probably fight back against them. In the meantime, most of the citizenry will have head to the local temples as well as the castle itself in order to take shelter. I suggest we head to the Temple of Mara or Bahamut and hide ourselves for the time being, or at least get our bearings about us.
Well,
I doesn't like either of these options.
well, we told
Hey, you
your
keep your mouth
fellows
shut.
that we would bring you back, so let's go to the Bahamut.
Very well. Let's make haste. You're suddenly, as you are running, you're restrained and you're put in a box and you're carried along. So, as you guys are all these fucking lines that don't make sense.
Well, he said to make haste, so I'm just running really
Running
fast.
through buildings, teleporting. I gotcha. Oh yeah, no. See, look, Berg, you're supposed to be like running to the temple. Lion's the one supposed to be running off to battle.
I was running with him until I found out where he was going. I was like, oh no.
No, see, you're the mercenary. You're supposed to be like, you paying me extra?
I'm running around looking for the tavern.
Okay.
Oh god,
As you guys-
the tavern, it burned down.
No!
You guys hurry, running through the city. You see people, you occasionally see this stray citizen moving back and forth, but they're running almost in the same direction as you guys, heading towards the temples themselves. Other than that, for the most part, the streets seem barren, with the exception of rubble and fiery ruins. You also see a couple of soldier platoons running back and forth. They stop you momentarily, tell you to get to shelter, and then move along as if they're on orders and they're in a very big hurry. Soon enough, you guys managed to run up the steps to the Temple of Bahamut, which seems to be protected from the major onslaught that seems to be occurring in the city, even more so than the actual city itself and what appears to be the barrier around it. As you the reason you know this, of course, being that the city itself, all around the temple, seems to have suffered some damage, but the temple itself seems to have been relatively unscathed. After the first attack, you imagine they kind of got to work on preventing that from happening. You run into the temple and you bang on the door, immediately open it up and allow you inside. Everyone is shocked to see that John Frew has returned, and he himself has to sit and take a moment to catch his breath. Well, with the wounded seem to have been not necessarily evacuated, but they seem to have been moved somewhere else other than the main hall, perhaps to a more secure location. In its place, you have several meetings between acolytes and what appear to be fully fledged brothers, much like paladins, the one you met before, and John. They seem to be addressing them. They all seem to be giving them their orders, their briefings, and what appears to be having what is to say a kind of a rally. As John sits, a few of the acolytes and a few of the elder brothers come to him, and they all, kind of make note of his presence. They press the same thing. I thought you were dead. He tells them, no, I have survived, thanks to these young ones. They found me down there. There's much to discuss, but what is the situation in the city? The old man from before who you spoke to, he comes back and he's now dressed completely in his paladin regalia. He's got his completely silver platinum-esque armor, completely plated up all over his body, and he's carrying a very large, heavy pick. And he moves up to John, and he says, Sir John, we're preparing to join the forces that are mustering out the North Gate. There appears to be a small, very isolated scouting regiment that has brought along siege weaponry. Arcane cannons, if you would, that seem to be bombarding the city. We did not lose anything terribly important. Most of the city's main functions are still functioning well. Unfortunately, many shops and many residential buildings were destroyed. Soon, we're trying to coordinate an effort between Mara's temple in order to ensure that the people are evacuated, rescued from any rubble that they're trapped under, as soon as we go out to deal with the threat. Once the attacks have stopped, they can begin. And the militia, John says. The militia and the guards have already begun to muster outside the North Gate, and they are searching feverishly. I expect the Duke is waiting for word, and Dower is no doubt in the field. Very good. He looks over to you guys and says, no doubt you're all tired, and this is surely not a time to rest, but you may need to. We'll do our job here. There are barracks to the left. He points to a small room on the left side that seems to have some stairs that seem to spiral downwards. You can rest there if you'd like. If not, please try to stay out of the way, and you're more welcome to stay in the temple for as long as you may. He gives a very sharp glance to Shanoa. And you, mind your tongue.
Berg would ask if there's anywhere to kind of bathe and get cleaned up. So he remembers what happened last time.
Berg looks over. He looks over to you, Berg, and he sighs a little bit and shakes his head. He says, "Unfortunately, we do not necessarily live in such extravagance. We're not nobles. We are clergy. We are men of the cloth. Every room in this building serves a purpose, but that is not one of them. There are plenty of bathhouses in the city. While I appreciate you looking out for us as well as yourself in terms of cleanliness, you will have to wait."
We're all gonna get sick again. Okay.
Build me up, and I'll join you in the battle.
Prue looks over and he looks among the people and says, They all seem to be very, very busy, but a few of them say, "Yeah, fine. Acolyte, attend to his wounds." The Acolyte steps forward and he clearly gives you the rundown. I'm going to go ahead and skip forward a little bit because there's not a whole lot of actually prepared dialogue for this particular scene because stuff. But let me know what everybody's doing. You're being healed, Lion, and you say you're preparing to actually go join a battle. You as a noble had that election. The rest of you would be considered citizens, and may not do that, or you can if you want to force yourself to do so. It's up to you. What are you doing?
Well, Anian is not comfortable with Lion running off on his own like that, but he's also very kind of tired and wanting to see if maybe this other bathhouse is actually still running or not.
Not right now.
Okay.
That's a given.
Yeah.
The situation the city is in is that most of the services in the city have been suspended until the battle is over.
I could see it now. Everybody's fighting and bombs are just flying through the air and Tamian's just sitting there in a bath.
Is anyone there?
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. I just didn't want to get the poo fever again.
We could go to the river, right?
You're gonna go out there, suddenly a bomb's just gonna go straight and fall into the river and kill you.
Hey, wait!
It was like
wait!
shielding or whatever.
There's a fountain right in the center of the city square.
No, they'd get mad at us for that.
Who's gonna get mad at you? No one. They're all fighting to death. Well, actually, I think the bet there's gonna be a patrol that runs by and says, "Ew, what are you doing? Get to safety!"
Stop it right there, lawbreaker.
I guess.
Yeah, right. There's a war going on. They just stop in front of you. Stop right there, criminal scum! You violated the law.
I guess we'll just towel off and do what we can, but Anian would kind of I don't know. I mean, are people telling him that he can't go? Basically, that sounds
No,
like.
they're telling you shouldn't go.
Right.
They would also tell Lion this, but Lion is a noble who is completely geared up and trained to be in the art of war, is a person who is more than welcome to defend his country.
Yeah.
And because his uncle's liege lord is the Duke of Trenoweth, he is almost expected to.
Oh, well, Tamian would say, though, like... Well, actually, no, he wouldn't be out and about in town. He'd be in the place, so he'd probably be okay. But he would say, he would mention it to John Frodo. He's like, well, I'm supposed to stay with Lion, though, because they don't like me, because I came from the forest to the south.
Oh, Valarin, then.
Yeah.
No, you should stay with Lion as long as you're in public. If you're in the church here, we have domain in this area.
Okay.
There's no law on this world that trumps that which is Bahamut, the god of law and justice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that makes sense, I guess.
I plugged Shanoa's ears. No. Berg would kind of lean over to Shanoa, because I don't know if she's psionically focused or not, but I would say, you may take this time to prepare yourself. Yeah, it looks like we may be heading off with Lion.
I feel like Shanoa is kind of looking straight at the ground.
Oh, I should mention something. Berg, I need you to make a will save.
No, not the poo fever.
No, a will save.
No.
Berg, join me in our blasphemous thing and defeating John Frow. All hail Bykor, our Lord and Savior.
You're gonna try and fight the paladin who just completely whooped you, Shanoa, in the midst of hundreds of people who are on his side.
And much
I got
healthier.
Berg, so he can fight and I can run.
Berg has been killed by almost killed by crocodiles,
Berg is a mercenary, so he's not gonna just fight just because.
but he will go insane in fear.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about
You
that.
didn't notice. Yeah, I know. You didn't notice it before, but as you look around the room, you notice all of the religious symbology around here. Your breathing starts to get ragged, and then it gets very, very, very quick. You're almost hyperventilating. You're sweating profusely. You're getting very, very worried about everything that is happening around you. You're very shaken. So, as you're role-playing, remember, you are scared out of your mind right now.
Okay.
Berg, look at all that stuff!
No!
Berg, what's wrong with you?
I just. He can't even form a sentence right now. He's like, I gotta get out of here.
John stands up and says, "No, what is wrong with him? He seems to be afflicted by something."
I don't know. And Lion turns fully towards Berg, in which, the symbols of Goss are on his display.
This is a stupid thing to take.
You should maybe try to So here's how the shaken thing works. If you're within 30, 60 feet, what is it, 30 or 60?
30.
30 is when you're within 30 feet of whatever it is you're scared of, you are shaken. You can remain within 30 feet if you have something you need to do. You're not forced to run away. But in a situation like this, you may want to casually stay away from it.
I'm gonna go stand in the corner and look in the corner.
Okay. So Berg seems like he's just like, I'm just gonna go take a second. He just walks over to the corner and just kind of stands there and just seems to just kind of thumb his nose as he's leaning against the wall looking at the wall. He seems to be very uncomfortable, says John.
Yeah, I've never seen him like this. We were in here earlier. Yeah. He had no problem.
You bite your tongue.
No, I've seen him like that once before, I think. He's a big guy. He'll be right. We probably just all need to rest. Lion, do you really have to go?
Yes. I must defend the towns and cities of my kingdom.
I must defend. Wait, who do I belong to again?
I'm sorry. It was. Yeah.
I am the defender of the things I defend.
All right.
Yes.
This, to quote Ed Guy in their song "Defenders of the Crown," "We are defenders of the crown that we are defenders are too."
Well, Tynion will just kind of nod a bit and we'll say, "Alright, well, just be careful. I mean, I'm honestly, I'm really kind of exhausted in the whole thing, so I think I'm going to take the opportunity here to rest up, if it's okay."
Yep.
Very well.
What's
Stay
going to
within
happen?
the church.
So what's going to happen is this. Pretty much everybody but Lion is going to go and sleep, because that's what I'm getting from you guys. Which is
Probably.
honestly the way it should be. Sorry?
Is it probably? Yes.
Okay. So, Berg, you're probably going to hide under the covers while you're sleeping. But then they have Bahamut-themed blankets. Oh no!
I'm just picturing a little cartoon dragon on it.
But it's on the inside
and you
part.
flip over to where your head is facing, downwards, and they have Bahamut-themed sheets.
Nah, so it's not that broad of a flaw. It's not going to affect cartoon dragons or anything that looks like Bahamut. It's going to be religious symbology. So, statues. Statuettes. Symbols. Things like that. Not Bahamut on a blanket. Which is not what's happening. They have regular stuff.
Blasphemy.
You were hit by a million different, hooked wall hangers all at once because they don't like you. Anyways, so you guys go to bed. Lion, you actually go with one of the paladins and his platoon out, and he escorts you to the castle. You speak with Commander Dower, who is currently moving about, instructing people. And
I would like to stop by, grab my horse, and lance.
Sure, you're not actually going to fight anybody. What's going to happen is you're going to be, because simply put, I'm not going to do a thing where only one person is fighting 70 people. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't expect that, but yeah.
Yeah. But basically, you go out and join the forces in the hunt for this unit. In a few hours, the bombardment of the city stops. It just seems to stop there. In a few hours more, you start having trickles of wounded men coming back into the temple for any of you who move up to the lobby during that time. And then in the wait, why can't I not change the time for the calendar? What's going on here? Oh, there we go. And then the wee hours of the night, Lion, you return, and you also would enter the barracks for the time being, I imagine, because you're tired, and you probably need to go get your friends, and the offer, once you arrive, still stands with John.
I take it, I strip my armor off, and I just, slump into a bed. Probably exhausted at that point.
This. See, we're going to remove that. Picking all the things I got to remove. Now I can actually pull John from the combat tracker, because he is no longer... And I can also pull the bricks from the ceiling from the combat tracker. Alright. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, to see if Berg and Lion die from disease. I'm joking. But also,
Yay!
more experience points.
Die!
Level
Hey,
3,
blind dice.
right?
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, that'd be neat. Overnight rest, yay!
Shoot.
Y'all sleep until morning. Is what's going to happen.
It's a good sleep.
Yeah.
I sleep until morning, and then the next morning,
It'll be in
and
this
the next morning.
14th Lover's Rise, which will be 10 a.m. once we wake up.
It's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's? No, that's Heart's Day.
Oh, I said 14th, so I was like, aye.
The 17th of Lover's Rise is Heart's Day, which is basically the equivalent of Valentine's Day.
It should be the 14th. Anyway.
Okay. Let me see here. Is there anything I forgot? Well, I did forget one thing. Okay. Silly as this is going to sound, this was not actually a level 5 encounter. It was just because there's so many of them individually. But there's no way to really tell that thing that is a thing. Okay. Alright, guys. You guys all did very well. You managed to solve 2 quests. You found John Frew, the Paladin of Bahamut, down in the sewers, and you defeated the things that seemed to have kept him stuck. You also may have found out the cause of the plague. Or at least you seem to have eliminated it so far. You fought 2 pairs of ghoul encounters and 2 Otyugs. You also had an encounter with a man in leather armor, and a collective total of 5 CR's worth of puzzle and traps. Awarding those will make Berg and Tamian level up, and Lion and Shinoa will be on the precipice of leveling up.
I need 34 more experience.
What's fine?
Bye-bye!
I killed Shinoa real quick. That's at least worth 34, right? And I'm pretty sure John Frau won't care.
Pretty sure he'll care immensely.
He'll probably defend her because, he's not about murdering people. That's not always about. I'll go ahead and mulligan Lion and Shinoa, since y'all are so close. 34 experience is trash. Go ahead and bump up to level 3. That will be 3,000 exactly.
Guy.
So, you will not get everything just yet. You will get all of your class features, levels, and all the other stuff next week. But we will continue today as long as our time at level 2 effective. Just keep in mind what you're building into, and if you have time after the game ends tonight, go ahead and apply the changes. Or if you want to take some time to figure out what you're going to do that, and we'll do it sometime during the week. Keep in mind that if you do not have your changes at the end of the week, you will not level up until you do. So think hard, gentlemen.
I have
Alright.
been.
So, in the morning time, Lion, you're a little bit more sore than the rest. You've kind of had you had a busy night. You were running about the forests and along the roads trying to find these people, on horseback and afoot, killing them with gun or saber. I'm joking. And it wasn't your troop that actually found them, and there was a small flare that came up that seemed to have been made with some level of magic that indicated that kind of indicated that everybody needed to gather there. As you arrived, there were a small contingent of Morin troops that had been carrying a strange siege engine that was very, very elaborate, and its complete complexity was very much beyond you. Unfortunately, in the battle, it was smashed beyond repair by various forces colliding with it and the people around it. But that possibly is for the best. Afterwards, you returned triumphantly. You didn't suffer much damage, nor did many of your troops. As soon as they were found, they were relatively killed and apprehended, for the most part. We're not exactly done. Sean, someone's asking you something in your stream, by the way. But yeah, no, once you returned, you went to bed, you all got up in the next morning, and for the most part, everybody's good, with the exception of Berg and Lion, who each need to roll fortitude saves.
Use mine!
Is that a thing you can do, Damien?
No, I'm just I'm just gloating about my high fortitude save, that's all.
Nope, it's actually enough. Berg and Lion, you managed to shake off the final effects of your terrible, terrible disease. It has managed to completely go away.
Right.
You looked down at the hives that you were developing, the filthy, nasty things, and it seems to have receded. You're not sure if it's partially due to the effects of getting rid of the Otyugs and having some clean water that's been boiled, and just that the ability of the clerics that have been attending to you guys or something like that. But it has seemed to recede. It may also be something to do with your constitution and your general ability. But you feel better than ever, and it's now 10 a.m. in the morning. Tamian, you may need to take some time to prepare your spells.
Yep.
And Berg and Shanoa may do your own things. Lion's probably going to get all suited up. But now you guys now you guys have woken up, and you're ready to take on the world. And I'm going to go ahead and reset your HP, Shanoa, because more than likely someone healed you. Although you probably cursed their deity and they smacked you in the face. They'll take
Doing another
temporary
1d4 damage.
Yep.
Is that Bycor's own healing spell? Miss. Otherwise...
Okay, what happened to my sonic focus? There we are.
Hey, Jeff?
Yeah?
Question. He's asking basically how Fantasy Grounds works. I don't remember how many copies do you get if you buy the DM one? How's that work?
Would you like to field that, or should I?
I got it. Alright. So, you're all in the same barracks, by the way. There is no separation between the sexes and the clergy of Bahamut, mostly because they're not focused on sex or anything. They're pretty much warriors of justice. Shano, on the other hand, if you are particularly shameful, you may want to sleep in your undies. In case anyone's going buff. But, it is the morning time, and I'm going to afford an hour for each of you, just in case y'all need to spend a particular amount of time getting your spells and such ready. And it is now 11 a.m. Your journey into the sewers is done. You found John. You rescued him. You also found what may be the source of the plague, although the man in leather armor mentioned that he had a job to do, and he wasn't being paid to deal with kids, and he fled. So you're not sure what to do with that one, unless you want to go looking for people who may give out those jobs. You also mentioned that you noticed the Adventurers Guild prior to entering the sewers last time. They may have something interesting for you, and in particular for Lion, perhaps there's something to do in the Duke's castle. After all, now the war has seemingly escalated into something much worse, and there may be a few moments for you to grab some prestige among the court. Perhaps even a few missions and electives that you might be able to take. And of course, there is still the option of pursuing Heimdall, and also trying to locate those thieves that stole money from you. So, it is up to the party to determine what they're doing at this point.
Well, I think it's fair to say that the thieves are gone like a fart in the wind. That has been established. I'm sorry.
Those very words were spoken.
Well, Tinian, he is pairing his spells.
I'm getting
That's
far
right,
away from...
Your spell's already prepared. We just gave an hour for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Berg is going to go... is the city back to normal now? No longer under siege?
For the most part, people are moving about, going back to their businesses and so on, but there's a lot of people who are visiting temples. Some of them are gathered up around the castle, waiting for an audience with the Duke, or waiting for some kind of announcement as to what's going to happen now. Things like that. Hold on.
Let's take a few minutes, go get cleaned up, and then go by the castle. See what's going on there.
I'll get cleaned up, eat. It's been a while since we got anything to eat, and then do that. I want to get away from this temple. That's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you'll never be away from all the religiosity about this place, man.
Can you feel
I'm
like
with Berg. Let's get out of this temple. Maybe one of the baths is open.
Yeah. I want to go to the nice one this time.
Best at you.
Yeah, right. We should go to the nice bathhouse just so we can show up there as the most filthy we've ever been.
You gotta sit in the damn bath and like all the water that's filling out these like lion faucets and stuff like it's gonna turn green. Little turd's gonna float by.
Oh God.
Not mine. Wait, I should edit that. But yeah, we should go to one of the bathhouses. I don't care which one. Probably have enough money for both, and just get clean, and then go by the castle.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't go there covered in shit.
Or that's what Lion wants to do anyway.
Yes, I'm going to the nice one.
Let's all go to the nice one.
Yeah.
Nice bath we go.
I'm gonna
Wait,
go grab a drink.
what-
I will be right back.
Okay.
How much was the nice one again? I don't remember.
The nice one was about 5 silver pieces each.
That's not bad.
It's the price of eating food and staying at an inn for a night. Rich for everybody else's blood, should we say.
I give him the 5 silver, and I walk my filthy ass right in.
The man turns up his nose and says, ruffians.
I am a noble knight.
That may be.
I just
but
happen to
currently
have
covered
a-
in foul, terrible substance.
Yes, I was fighting filthy down in this.
How quaint.
Yes. I'm happy to be done with that place. Now I must get clean.
I also give him 5 silver
Never
and
go
walk
there
right
again.
past him, not listening to anything he has to say.
Damien comes up and he's like, "Hi." And I decided to go to this one this time because everyone else wanted to. And he gives him a gold piece.
Okay. He'll hand you back about 5 silver pieces.
No.
Hmm.
No. It's 5 of these for everybody, right? He points to the 5 that he's trying to hand him.
5 silver for each person, yes.
Right. Well, I figure DD, she's not a person, but that I don't want you to, I don't want you to have to, lose out
I'm
on
sorry,
money on
sir.
her
We
account.
don't allow dogs in the bath.
Are you
Wait,
sure?
Didn't I speak to you before about this?
Was it about that?
Yes, it was. That's why y'all turned away.
Oh.
Even I remember this.
I do too, but
Well, Tamian is going to be like, "No, look, sir. I have worked very hard, and my dog has also worked very hard, and I would request that you reconsider."
Let's see. The man looks at you and says, "Sir, if you will not pay for the bath for yourself and leave your dog outside, I will have to ask you to leave."
Is it worth using my reroll? Well, what else are we gonna do today?
go by the castle.
Don't!
Yeah.
Don't tempt fate, you fool!
Well, no, I mean, I can use that's like my racial ability to basically redo these. I will try that one again. And just sort of use my semi-foreign ability to be like, I'm sorry, I might have misspoke. I didn't mean to make it seem like I was being a jerk. Please.
Do you want to re-roll it?
Huh?
Did you re-roll?
Yeah, I just rolled it in the tower.
It's funny that you rolled the same number.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you really did. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. They were both 8 plus 5. He looks at you and says, "Sir, I repeat my earlier statement. The dog cannot stay in the bath. It is a policy, and we will uphold it."
Okay.
You won't
I
go
guess
anywhere if
I
you
will-
tell her just to sit still, right?
Well, maybe not. Probably not. I'm just worried. I don't like leaving her by herself.
And we'll get in, clean ourselves, and get out quickly.
Okay. So,
Then we
Yeah.
go in and lounge for about an hour.
then Tamian will we'll readjust that then, get in 5 more. He will have Dee Dee stay outside. And we'll just be like, can you... She's gonna be right outside. Just let me know if anything happens to her.
As you would, sir.
Okay, thank you. And then he is all paid up and he will go in the fancy bath and he'll be like, wow.
So on the men's side, we have Tamian, Lion, and Berg causing a fuss, splashing about, swimming around in the bath. And then on the other side, we have Shanoa, who's just sitting there blowing bubbles.
Obviously.
I don't have any friends.
Mine is just enjoying the hot.
Dee Dee would have went in with her, but she wasn't allowed. And no one helped him try to convince the guy.
Right.
You don't want me trying to.
Not you, no.
That would make things much worse.
Damien will continue to show his fancy card off to the other guys and be like, look, it's like really like pretty.
Yes. No. I gave it to you.
I know.
So,
But did you see the frog on her hat? I think it's
Not really.
look. He's like really. He just likes showing it because it's neat looking. Did he say it was rare? I don't remember. I don't know. I've never seen it before.
he didn't mention anything regarding its rareness. He said it appears to be a thing that seers, wannabe seers, and other diviners tend to use in order to. And they're charlatans. It's the jester's card.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you can tell that he seems to have some level of prejudice against it. He doesn't like it. Finds it to be silly.
Well, basically, Damien is like super into it because it's all like hand drawn. He hasn't seen anything quite like that in a little card before. Not with that much detail. He's like super into it. You guys see where this is going, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Totally get in there.
Basically, he's into it like they're trading cards, but he's only got the one so far, and he doesn't even know that there are more. But when he finds out there's more, he's like, "Oh my god,
I gotta get them all.
trading cards!"
I gotta get the blue eyes white dragon. I mean,
Blue Eyes White Dragon. White Lightning!
You're in the other bath.
all of a sudden she outbursts like that, and all the other women in this bath look over to her and like start inching away.
Just imagine her looking straight up, open her mouth really wide. Rise, white dragon! But alright, about 30 minutes pass, half an hour, you guys, emerge from the bath, all nice and squeaky clean. Berg's particularly just got a towel wrapped around his beer gut, and he walks out, combing his beard a bit.
I come out, armor shining.
Alright, I'm back.
The old man at the front, he looks and he says, "Sir, did you take your armor into the bath?"
Maybe. It was filthy too.
Oh. Please refrain from doing that in the future, sir.
Oh,
How else am I gonna get it clean? Nobody else does that in this town.
You can take it to an armor smith, someone who is paid to do so. Do not contaminate the water for the other participants, sir.
Did you deduct my
Kind of like arch your brow at him and said, "Okay, whatever."
Okay. So you guys emerge from the bath and you've gotten all clean and wonderful. Where are you going now?
Line wants to go by the castle. I don't know about the others.
All right. As you move up towards the castle, well, that is a good point. The others, what are you doing?
Damien has to stay with Lion, otherwise he gets in trouble.
This is true.
Damien does get in
Damien's
trouble.
coming with me.
I'm going to go
And I guess so is Dee Dee.
to the tavern and eat and drink and be merry.
Berg,
The Berg.
Celebrate being alive.
I hear
Alright.
crickets.
Guess I
Oh,
am following everyone else as I leave the.
oh, sorry, my mic was cut off.
Sure.
I'm gonna go to the castle, I guess. Okay.
Right. So I'm not going to bother bringing up the castle map this time because it's a gigantic map and it rarely ever loads properly. So instead, I'm just going to kind of do this. You guys come up to the castle, the very entrance of which seems to just have hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the square, standing very, worriedly about. They all seem to be commenting on the matter at hand. A few of which are muttering. You hear a worried voice speaking. He says, "Oh no. First Heidel, and now this! Is there no place safe in all of Melica?" Another man speaks up and he says, "The fools in Heidel are lucky. They're dealing with the spirits and the dead. We're dealing with the Morans, and they're taking their guns to us." Another woman says, "Well, what will we do if the war doesn't stop soon? They said that they would take back the Moran days. It's been weeks. A week, actually." And another person says, "In times like these, we must look to the Duke for leadership. He will tell us what we must do. The only thing we can do right now is hope. Go about our lives." And as they continue to mill about, muttering, rumors are spreading, people are talking, there's just this sense of worry and general malaise and unhappiness. War is upon this town, and it has become a much larger reality than any of them had really wanted to ever experience. Suddenly, trumpets ring out in a very loud and raucous cacophony. It's almost as if they're signaling your attention to the herald. The herald has stood in front of the gate. The portcullis lowering behind him as he does. And he speaks to the crowd. He says, "Attention, citizens of Greater Melica! The Duke Trunowith of the House of Trunowith, which has ruled Melican people for decades since the Moran subjugation from the county of Lonia, has issued forth a declaration of war against the insurrectionist state of Mor." The people, they all seem to be rather unimpressed. This is what they expected. The Moran people have declared insurrection to the crown here, or at least to the seat of ruling power in Melica. But then he continues to speak. "In addition, the Duke Lester Trunowith has called all able-bodied knights and all those looking to make their fortune to report before him on the Iron Throne. Those who do may seek employment among his soldiers and his armies. They will be sent out to rout the threat that the Moran people have posed to our fair lands. If you find yourself willing to take up your arms in service of this county, please report to the castle immediately. Those of you who have come to petition the Duke regarding your lands, your homes, or your businesses, please speak to Commander Dower or the steward of the castle. They will address your concerns appropriately." And with that, another signal of horns is blasted, and it goes throughout the crowd, and there just seems to be a renewed sense of murmuring and worry and they all seem to, for the most part, disperse, almost as if that was enough. They've been told what needs to happen. Some of them stay around afterwards, and they form a line. And almost immediately after the herald is finished, a group of soldiers appear at the gates, and they also emerge from the gates and allow, they start to divvy up the people. Based on what they're doing, people come up to one of them. They set up a table in front of the gates, and one sits. And he, as each person approaches, he says, "What is your purpose?" Sooner or later, minutes pass. Several people either turn away from the gate or enter, or go to one side and speak with another soldier. And in about 25 minutes' time, your party gets up to the man, and he looks up to you, holding a small piece of parchment and a feathered pen, and he looks and says, "What is your purpose in the court today?"
I've come to offer my blade in service.
State your name and your rank, if you have one.
Sir Napoleon Stahl.
Stahl. House Stahl, was it? From the city of Melka, I believe.
Yes.
Very well. Please head to the right line and enter.
I start doing so.
As you move forward, he calls to the next person in line, which would maybe be Tamnian, Berg, and Shinoa or something, and he seems to mistake them for not being part of your party. And he says, "Halt! What is your purpose?"
I'm with him, as she points to Lion.
He cocks a brow, almost as if he doesn't believe it, and he turns to Lion and says, "Sir, there are vagrants. They claim to be following you."
Yes, they are.
Oh.
As he's
Very
looking
well.
away, she kind of gives him this glare. This really quick glare.
He turns back and looks to the party, assuming Shinoa is no longer giving him a glare. If
Yeah,
he is,
as he starts turning his head back to look at her, she kind of just, relaxes her face and gives her this kind of blank, bored stare.
Okay. He turns back and he just kind of says, "All right, proceed then. Follow your commander and you will approach the hall." And then he says, "Next."
I motion for them to follow and continue on.
Yeah, Tinian will kind of make his way over and just sort of be like, "So, what are we doing, Lion?"
Going to war.
And as you guys are walking away from the table, you hear another person call out. This is, "Oh, you have the wrong man. I'm sorry. I'm actually with them as well."
I look back and see who it is.
Berg turns as well.
Berg turns as well. Let me see if I actually have his picture ready.
It's Tom
So, do I pull
Bombadil.
out my crossbow immediately and start shooting?
Do we at least recognize him?
You don't recognize him.
Okay, so it's not a Hellion. Good.
But I do need anyone who has it to roll a knowledge local check.
Let me see. Don't think I do.
I have geography, history, and ability.
Okay.
Nope.
You turn around and you don't quite see this man in this pose, but you see a man who looks something like this. And you notice a small emblem. Noah, you specifically notice a small emblem on his cloak that is a picture of a white hawk that seems to have a light shining behind it. You recognize the significance of such a symbol. It is a symbol of the Bright Hawks Adventuring Guild. And he speaks to you.
Oh, thank God, not God.
He speaks to you and he says, "Yes, I'm traveling with you. We were going to see the Duke, right?" And he kind of gives you a wink while the soldiers turned away.
What the fuck?
Tinian touches his butt head.
The man seems to be trying to get into the castle for some reason, but from what you understand, Tamnian, you feel like you can. You don't seem to sense any ill will. He's just trying to really eagerly get an audience with the count, or at least the court. It seems that, at least when you look around and you notice that everybody else is kind of being moved aside, that maybe they're not getting in. This is this man's clever trick.
Oh yeah.
I turned to Lion kind of secretively.
Can I kind of gauge what if he ill will by doing this, or
You can roll a sense motive check and see. Lion, you also get about the same feeling. He doesn't really seem to have any ill will. He certainly doesn't look like he's armed to the teeth or anything, like he's going to take on the world or anything. He seems to be seeking an audience or something, or at the very least he's trying to go where you're going. And that's the only reason he's calling out to you. He definitely seems very, very friendly. He's giving you a very plaintive look, almost just saying, hey, come on, help me out here.
Damien's kind of like, yeah. Yeah, right, Lion?
of course. Why didn't you come when I motioned to everyone?
He laughs. He says, yes, listen to these people. They almost act like they almost forgot old Lear.
Well, it's just we expected you sooner, Lear.
It's my bad. I actually had to stop by the guild for some work, and it turns out, I got out a little bit late. I do apologize. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Guard. I do appreciate you doing your job to help protect the city. It's very good of you. Eyes up, chin up, straight. Very good. And he just moves by the table. The guard seems a bit bewildered. He's like, the fuck? Where did this guy come from? But then he just kind of goes, okay, turns about and goes back to his business. He catches up with you, and he just kind of walks with you for a bit, doesn't make any sudden moves, and as you guys get, moved by, and it doesn't seem like there's any guards, he then kind of, continues walking and leans over and says, I really do appreciate that. Very, very nice of you to offer a little bit of assistance. The Bright Hawks have a good reputation in this town, but in times of war it is very difficult for us to move about amongst the royalty, for obvious reasons. But I assure you I have a reason to be in the castle.
As long as you don't make me regret it.
Oh, I will never dream of such a thing. I'm actually here on behalf of the Guildmaster, Thalion. I have not even introduced myself, I tried, but, circumstances prevailed. I'm Lear Olathian. You may think of me as a trickster of sorts, he says. And he holds out his hand, and he seems to have a small deck of cards, and he flips them back and forth in between different hands, almost as if he's doing a very, very advanced shuffling technique. Says, they would call me a seer.
Then Tamnian pulls out his wand and just tosses it back and forth in his hands, copying him.
Dear. I think we found a card of your peoples.
Does Tamnian kind of notice?
I'm a half-elf, sir.
What do you mean by you people?
Tamnian,
I mean seers, sir.
Seers. Oh, you mean of mine? He says, as he holds up a card. Now I gotta fucking remember what card that was supposed to be.
Magician.
No, that's your card.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ah, okay. He holds up this card. He holds up the Emperor card to all of you. It shows a man holding a scepter, and there seems to be a pillar of some sort behind him, and the man looks very confident. He says, yes, of my people. People who all unite under the same art and power, as explained here. Most of you may not get the symbolism, and if you don't, he says, well, there's no bother ruining the mysticism of it all. Tamnian, you may kind of get what he's saying. He's mentioning that basically this card represents one thing binding many people together. And he says, yes, I am a person who uses these. It is my main art. I divine the future, the past, and all things present with it. It's a very, very useful thing to live by, although fate can be whimsical, as one might expect.
Tamnian looks at it that's like the one, yeah. I found one like that. I like mine better, but yeah.
He seems to be very interested. He says, "Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Can I see it?"
Yep. And then Tamnian pulls out and shows him.
Oh, I did not mean to actually remove his portrait, but I imagine everybody got out of it anyways. And as Tamian holds up the other card, or gets a good look at it again, and he looks upon it and he says, I see. You found quite the treasure there. That is the magician, as you can read, I'm sure. The magician is the one who guides the fool in his journey. He shows him the paths that life has and all the things in between. And with his guidance, perhaps the fool is tricked, or perhaps the fool is given a path to take. It's very, very lucky that you found that one.
She has a
I like it.
She's got an
She's
iguana
got
on her
like a
head.
lizard on her hat. Yeah. Oh wait, what's? So there's more then.
Ah, yes. That is a card of the Major Arcana. It's a tool of my trade, you see. There are 22 of them, but there are 78 cards in all, he says as he holds up a large deck. Alas, I've only captured about 40 of them. My journey is still yet underway.
Wow. Wait,
Looks like you got a long way to go there, Damien.
they're tools though, because like, I mean, how do you use this as like a tool if it's like it's little?
Ah, that's a good question. Here, let me show you. And as he walks, y'all are walking through the courtyard that you walked through before. There were large skirmishes, mock battles happening in the courtyard with paths moving back and forth. He moves up to one of the presses. And the press that's on the executioner's thing and block. There's a small ledge next to the executioner's block, and no one seems to be looking, and he kind of looks around and waits for a moment, making sure no one is, obviously checking to see if he's doing anything wrong. And he says, please, come here. And he instructs Berg, and as Berg reaches, he kind of lightly places his hand on his shoulder in a very unassuming way, and he says, sir, you look like a very strong individual.
Go on.
No, that's it. You're very strong. You're clearly a very large man with very, very muscular appearance. You are a credit to your people. And you, sir, he says to Lion, and looks over to him and also places a hand onto him. And he says, and I bet you have many, many years of training and power under your belt where you seek to take back the lands that were once yours.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Awesome. Yes, the cards never lie. But the power between you two and myself. I am a very, very limp man, he says as he pulls up one of his sleeves and he shows his very ropey arms. They're very lithe. There's no real muscle to them. I cannot hope to match you. This type of item here, this large press, used for unimaginable purposes, I could never hope to move it on my own, right? But you two, maybe you could. But you're separate people. Your strength is limited to you and to you, not all at once. You can't combine them. Or can you? He says as he holds up a card. And with that card, he shouts, combine our force, mystical arts. The fates guide us to come together. And he starts speaking in loud, loud words as if he's calling forth some kind of ethereal energy. And all of you feel affected. And if any of you seem to be perturbed by this, he says, do not resist. I promise. It will not harm you. But you might just see something amazing. Berg and Lion, you feel the most affected. I'll take everybody's silence as consent.
Yes,
So,
Damien's watching all excitedly.
Yeah.
He's like waiting. He's like, what's this?
so Berg, you feel your strength just kind of leaving you suddenly. Not leaving you, but it's almost as if it's being borrowed. Lion, you feel the same thing. Everyone who is within 10 feet of this person feels the exact same thing. And suddenly you see this man, he reaches over and he grabs the edge of the press and he lifts it off the ground like it was just so much paper. Almost as if it's an impossible feat. And he looks back and says, this is not me. My strength is incomparable to any of yours. But through the power of my tools, I have united all of our strength in one vessel. And just like that, he lets it go and lets it sit down, and there's a loud sound as it falls back onto the platform, and everybody, he just just puts his hands in his pocket and begins walking along. And hopefully all of you follow his lead, because everybody looks around and says, what the hell was that noise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow.
Yeah.
Hopefully starting to feel my strength coming back.
Yes, your strength was never gone. It just felt borrowed, like you were linked to
Yeah.
someone else, and they were using it. And
That's
yes, the
pretty
strength
cool.
comes back to you. And he says, yes, that's the trick of my trade. We're very different, you see. Not your average seers, but these cards, they're more than what they appear. And he looks back to Tamnian and he says, and now he's walking backwards even. He says, and your card, young man, I should tell you, that's not an average card. That's not one that people use in parlors to divine fates and fortunes and scorn people from their money, or separate people from their money. That is true magic.
Berg
Really?
kind of leans over to what's his name? Lion. There we go. Yeah. Who's my boss? Berg. Berg leans over to Lion. He's like, man, imagine if we could make use of that.
I know.
As
Damien-
you're speaking, I just brought his picture back up.
Yeah.
I don't have to look at it. But as you're speaking, he says, but you can. In fact, this power can be imparted to anyone that I so choose. But, we don't need to use it right now. But hey, should you find someone who would be willing to assist you in your journeys, should you find the power yourself, I have no doubt that you would be able to make use of it. Yes, the power of fate itself lies in these cards, and it is of great power. One that can lead to both triumph and tribulation.
Damien's kind of like looking at his now, and he's like, "That's so. Does mine do that? What's it like? How does it work?"
It works through intense study. You must know the card, you must know its power, and you must seek to understand it. It takes training. You may be quite far from it indeed.
Oh,
But perhaps you can approach it. You seem young, able to learn.
yeah. Well, I mean, I know a lot about other magic. Like, I'm a druid basically. My dad or
Everybody turns around and says, a druid.
Really? You're a druid. Turn into a dog. No, do it. No.
yeah. I mean, didn't you? I mean, I turned into a wolf earlier. You didn't think that was?
That was just a
strange?
spell.
I not to interrupt, but I'm laughing because I just started singing that. This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow. And I just realized this guy looks a lot like him.
Yeah, I can see
a little
that.
bit.
Kind of acts like him too.
Oh, he's
He's
just a
like-
trickster. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, I've been healing you, Lion. Like, I mean, I guess I never said it outright.
Why don't you turn into more animals?
I don't know. I can't yet.
He points at the card and he says, like the magician is the master of all his elements, a master of mystical strings that tie the universe together. He is the number one card, and yet the fool is where the beginnings are, he says as he produces another card from his deck. Well, the fool is where every man starts in the never-ending cycle of life. Aimless, knowledgeless, simply wandering through life without a care in the world. Happy, happenstance, circumstance. It is in his meeting with the magician, the master of his art, that he learns of the path he needs to take in life, and then sets about his journey to become the new master.
That kind of sounds like me a little bit.
Oh, it truly does. We're all fools at one point, and perhaps in all of us lies a master.
Or an apprentice.
Wow. That's really neat. Where would I go to? I mean, who should I look for to learn about this stuff? I mean, I guess we're kind of on our way to this Duke guy, but
Well, you can learn from anyone who already knows the art, or you can invest your own study. Perhaps you are the fool and I am the magician, showing you the paths that lie ahead of you. I could open your knapsack, prove it. I could open it and bring out the pinnacles, he says as he draws the ace of pinnacles. Or I could bring out the sword as he draws the ace of swords. Or even the cups or the wands as he draws the respective aces of both of them. But it's up to you to choose what you do, not for me to set you upon the path.
Cryptic metaphor, blah, blah.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Come on, the symbolism is there, but it's not that complex.
I know, it reminded me of the Ego Raptor. Cryptic metaphor.
So he opened up my bag and started pulling these out?
No, he said, I can open up your bag. It's a reference to the magician card. The magician card is supposed to represent a person, like, he asked the fool to give him his bag. And when he opens the bag, he pulls out 4 things: the pinnacle, the cups, the wands, and the sword. And he points down to the ground and then up to the sky and tells the fool that these were there all along. Were they, or was it an illusion that the magician cleverly cooked up? He's indicating that there's a choice in life. There's 4 different paths to choose from. He'll tell you that where the paths are, but he won't tell you which one to choose or if they're even real to begin with.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess Tamian would kind of look and, he doesn't really know what they all are yet, but, which one looks the neatest? I guess that's a shitty question.
You're not literally choosing between the cards he shows you.
Oh, okay.
Hey, roll a knowledge arcana check.
Oh, I don't have that yet.
Roll an intelligence check.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Tamian, you get the idea that he's saying that while he is a person who could clearly teach you, and he could clearly show you any number of paths you could take to arrive at your goal, that's not his place. He's not the person to set you on a journey. He's a person to let you choose for yourself. He presents the options that you have. You can either learn it yourself. You can learn it from somebody who already knows. You can go on some major quest to learn this knowledge. But it's up to you alone, to decide what you're going to do. You have to ask the questions. He's not going to give you the answers.
Okay. Well, yeah, Tamian, he sort of nods and says, well, I guess I'll try to find someone who can teach me a little bit to get me started. I mean, I can really work stuff out pretty well with enough time.
Well, perhaps you can. If you aren't truly interested in learning the art, I am not a master in my own right, although I consider myself to be well made. You can perhaps visit me in the guild hall. I'll be there shortly after this, even if it does go the way I expect it to. The guild. Thalion's not going to like what's going to come out of this, but he will have to deal with it. There's unfortunately something that must happen.
Oh.
No, do not worry. It will not affect you, and it will not harm this county. It's just... it's guild matters. They matter. They do.
So, here's a question that I've been thinking of. If he does happen to go down that path to becoming a seer, where would we get more of these cards?
Oh, the cards can be made and the cards can be found. There have been many of my kind who have walked this earth, and many of them have left their tolls of trade here, there, and everywhere. Some of them died, some of them had them stolen, and yet some of them lost them. The cards themselves, he says as he holds up one of the ones you've already seen and just holds it between 2 fingers, are as physical as you and I. They are not special, they are not stored in the mind, they can fly away in the breeze just as well as anything else. It is up to us who hold them dear to keep them. Perhaps he will find some in his travels. Perhaps he'll find some in the shops along the way, those that sell the magical trinkets of the day. And perhaps he will even find a way to craft them himself.
I don't know if I'm that good at drawing, but it's fun to think about. I like
All
it.
people progress with time. All people progress with practice. Trial is the whetstone that sharpens us all.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try drawing. Maybe I bet I can draw over paper on this one and draw something that looks like it and get better that way. That makes sense.
Well, it is certainly a place to start, but I would not advise doing so when you actually get to that point. It does tend to be quite expensive, but nonetheless, we are here. And as you guys look up, having heard him say that, you notice that you've already walked across the entire courtyard while talking about this, and you are now walking up the steps in front of the large door. There are 2 soldiers standing to each side of it. And as you come up to it, he seems to just stop and stand on the platform and wait. The soldiers kind of knock on a smaller door on the large gates there, a large wooden door that's clearly meant for a large procession of people. There's a smaller wooden door inside of it, however. Out steps a small court herald. He seems to be dressed in the same fancy pantaloons that he was in your last visit here, with a little feather sticking out of his hat, and he says, "Whom visits the court, so I may announce you?"
Sir Napoleon Stahl and company here to offer their swords against the Morin army.
And as you finish speaking, Lear will speak. And yes, Lear with the Guild of Brighthawk. The court herald nods and walks inside. A few moments pass, almost as if a small eternity is passing before you, and suddenly you hear a large, boisterous voice call out, "Now announcing the presence of House Stahl, Apollyon Stahl, the sire of Stahl, and his company, as well as Lear Othlothian." And the doors open, and the court is meeting. You're beckoned inward. Lear begins to walk inside.
I stride in, and once I get into a good spot, I bow to the king or duke or...
The Duke is sitting on his throne. You can see him with his striking beard and mustache combination, his goatee that seems to extend a little ways off his face from the chin. He's no longer wearing his hat that he was before. He's got short hair with a small graying stripe going through one end of it. He looks to you and he says, "Ah, the whelp of the Stahl family has come to grace my court once again." Commander Dower, the man you saw before, he's bald. He has a crowning set of hair along with a small ponytail, and he addresses the court and says, "Duke, once more this is the boy of the Stahl family, Goffard's nephew. I have heard from the soldiers amongst the streets that he has once again distinguished himself. He single-handedly rescued John Frew. Single-handedly, excuse me. He also needed help." Yes. So he looks over to Berg, pauses for a moment, and says, "Oh yes, his company rescued John Frew from the sewers. It appears that some foul creature was down there and may very well have been the source of our plague." The Duke looks forward and he says, "Oh yes, well, isn't that wonderful?" And he stands up out of his throne. "Please do not mistake my countenance and my dismissive attitude for actual dismissiveness. You've done a service to my city, Stahl, and you have perhaps made me look upon you in a different light. We are at war, and I don't have time for pleasantry. I hear that you have come to pledge your sword to me and our country."
Fight against thorns, yes.
Then, will you be participating as a knight, or do you consider yourself at this point to be a mere mercenary?
A knight.
And yet you have no lord. As I understand, Goffard has pledged his allegiance to me, and to the throne on which the Duchy of Melica sits. You, however, have acted as a free agent, and while your actions have been very admirable, that is not befitting of a knight. Would you now pledge your allegiance to the throne of Melica? Or, to that I simply pay you and have you join the ranks of one of our armies.
Berg kind of starts nodding at the word pay.
Hey, that's how you gotta do it, man. That's your element. Lion's internal fucking clock is dealing with itself. So much turmoil.
The turmoil.
Decisions.
On the one hand, the thought of knighthood is very appealing to him. It's what he's trying to do.
On the other hand, the thought of knighthood means that you are now bound to another person.
Yes.
Or rather, to the government on which it represents.
Yes. And I have not seen that much of this person.
He's kind of a dick.
Give him a trial run, right? Maybe they're like, oh, I'm excited for now, maybe later night. I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works, I'm sorry.
Can I get a nightly day grace period?
You're immediately arrested. The jester comes and laughs at you and says, "Oh, that was a good one, buddy." And then you're thrown in the trash.
No, I'm not Captain Phasma. Spoilers. Sorry, everybody.
If they haven't watched it yet, they don't plan. Anyways.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I don't feel like being tied to one person yet, so.
Then make that decision.
Yeah.
Speak freely, friend. The Duke sits there and he's standing in a pose that almost exudes regality. He's got a cane in one hand, standing on the ground. The other hand is behind his back, his right leg forward, and he seems to be looking down to you and says, "Speak. What is your answer?"
With all due respect, sir, I'm not sure of tying myself to one king.
The man arcs a brow, his very thinly trimmed eyebrows seeming almost like a impossible structure bending upwards. The spine of a dragon, indeed. And he looks down to you, squinting his eyes somewhat, and he says, "Another kingdom, you say? I shan't expect that you're heading to Lonia to pledge your allegiance there, are you?"
No. But there seems to be a lot of issues in this kingdom of ours. And tying myself to one county, one area of it, would not befit the entirety.
The Duchy of Melica is ruled from this province. All 4 of our counties come from my hand alone, my family's hand, and they have for centuries. You would not be serving me, you would be serving the duchy. And if you elect to serve the kingdom, then I would remind you that Lionel has not had a king for many centuries, maybe even thousands of years. For those of you who succeed on your knowledge history checks, or even have them, Lionel has not had a king for many thousands of years. The Dead Marshes erupted out of the old capital, Old Lionel, in the east, many thousands of years ago. Since then, the royal family has not been seen. The Dead Marshes continue to expand outwards towards the west and north, slowly swallowing up more territories. In the Dead Marshes, many terrible things lurk. No living things sustain life there. Very difficult for people to even trek through it. There have been tales that the undead spread and walk about along with other unsavory creatures. Many countries with their borders towards the Dead Marshes have small units that send their criminals and their doomed peoples over there to spend their last years fighting against the threat. They kind of try to keep it at bay. the implication being that there is no king. Many of the noblery of Lionel have their allegiance still declared towards the king of Lionel, despite its absence. Usually this has been taken in a means to say that there is a fierce amount of loyalty to the old crown. There have been rumors, however, that perhaps it's just that the new king is rather undecided. As you recall from your geography lessons, there are quite a lot of states, counties, and duchies all spread among the whole of the Lionelian territories. Lion, your response?
What exactly did he say again?
He said,
like the last thing he said.
He said that if you were knighted by him, you would be serving the Duchy of Melica. He rules all of that. You wouldn't be serving just this county. That said, he also reminded you that if you plan to serve all of Lionel, there has not been a king on the throne for many thousands of years.
All the same, I would rather travel, see the kingdom myself, make myself worthy of a duke or sir, and then pledge myself.
Very well, he says as he moves back to the throne. Then, as a mercenary, I will have the steward address your concerns. Steward, Commander Dower, where do we need our troops the most, and where can this one be of use? Commander Dower steps forward. He's wearing what appears to be a black tabard over chainmail and with some small amount of leathery, maybe lamellar pauldrons. His left hand grasps his sword hilt that seems to be in its sheath tied to his belt, and he moves forward to speak. I open this up. County of Melica. He speaks with a bit of gravity, almost as if gravity and poise, formal poise. He looks and says, there are two places at which we have immediate attention necessary. Calcheth and Hugh. Hugh is a small river village to the south. It is small in size, but it is still fairly large considering its central location, and it is also on the only main road heading into the moor. We lost contact with Hugh in Ardglass, another town on that same road, and closer to the moor, mind you, many days ago when the war first began. We suspect this is when the Moran insurrection occurred originally, and they began their surprise attacks. The first surprise attack that you were present for, Sir Stahl, during your arrival in our city, of course, we believe was launched from Hugh. Calcheth, however, is a village to the north. It is also along a main road that leads into the moors. This road is the one that leads to the city of Albania. Albania is a northern city in the moors, and we have reason to suspect that there are many troops massing there, so we're seeking to reinforce the garrisons in Calcheth. Additionally, there have been many rumors in Calcheth circulating that strange things have been occurring at night. Additionally, there is a small matter that has yet to be resolved regarding the small border village of Heidel. It is slightly to the northeast. Mostly wilderness. There are minor roads that lead to it, and there's some creeks that bring water to it. The villagers have gone missing. All trade caravans that have visited there have either been wiped out and have not returned, or have returned and have given tales of strange creatures clawing at them, humanoid figures in the dark. Most have died. The only one that survived was the one that you assisted when his cart came barreling into town. The man Duke says, unfortunate that any of those would really require a mercenary. Heidel should be taken care of by a platoon of soldiers, probably city guards. Duke, the Dower speaks up and he says, well, as you recall, my lord, we have our guards patrolling the area to prevent any more siege incidences as we experienced this morning. As foolish as it is, and terrible as it is to say, I would rather not send them out to rescue a small border village in which hopes of survival are already thin for anyone who lives there, and risk the citizenry in the city. The Duke kind of puts his hand in his hand and says, He looks over the stall and says, I don't expect you to take any of these immediately, but consider it that if you decide on one, or if you would prefer one or the other, you will be paid for your duties upon completion, much like any mercenary who takes up the task. In the meantime, Heidel is very close. If you would like to go resolve that, you're more than welcome. As for Kalcheth and Hugh, it will take some time to actually get a carriage of sorts put together. We have to caravan them and guard them all, given the the state of war that we're in. So that will likely take a few days' time. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. My headset was being weird for a second. So basically what he's saying is, depending on what you have to basically consent to one of these tasks, and he'll send you on it. Kalcheth and Hugh will take some time to actually become ready. In fact, I'm going to give you the map, Lion, because I know you know the map. So Kalcheth, as you can see, is in the north. It heads up towards a rather mountainy area, and Hugh is down to the south of Greater Milica. It crosses a river. Heidel is a very minor thorp, and it would be somewhere to the northeast of Greater Milica along some minor roads. Basically, the options he's giving you is there's Kalcheth and Hugh, which are major army assignments, and you will be paid accordingly once your duties are completed. You can you can select one of those, and he'll let you do that. And upon completion, he'll pay you. They will take some time to organize because of the state of war. They have to send caravans of wagons out to different areas, guarded by a few soldiers, and you will likely be a part of one of those caravans. Heidel, however, is very close, and if you elect to do that, you can go there immediately on your own and try to handle that.
Well, seems like we might as well go do the quick one. We might still have time to do the other one later.
It seems that this issue in Heimel is something of a distraction. Perhaps we can ride out and see what's going on, take care of the issue, and come back.
Very well. The Duke sits silent, and Dower speaks very well. When you get back, please report your findings. If there is anyone alive, please rescue them and escort them back to the capital. If there are any hostiles in the area, whether they be wild beasts, terrible creatures, or Mooran soldiers, eliminate them. You need not feel the need to take any prisoners, although you will not be shunned if you do. Once the safety of Heimel is confirmed, we can work on getting those who need to be there back, or perhaps, if it has truly come to that, deconstructing the village and using its resources elsewhere for the war. Is what he says.
Very well. We will leave immediately, and we will return as soon as possible.
Alright, and with that, you guys probably get up and start to move away. Dower will speak up and says, "Ah, yes, there was a Lear Olathian with you." And Lear speaks up and says, "Yes, my lord, I'm right here." Dower looks at him with what appears to be a very, weary face, just his mouth somewhat open. He's kind of looking at him like you did something that you weren't supposed to do. And he looks back to the Duke, and the Duke just seems annoyed and says, "Lear, you entered the castle when the guards clearly should not have allowed you to. This is a matter of war, you know." And he says, "Yes, my lord, but you see it's urgent. The Bright Hawks, the matter you spoke with us about, we've decided to decline." The Duke, his eyes go a little bit wide and he says, "What?" Lear says, "Hold on, my lord. No disrespect. But as you can see, the Bright Hawks are a very independent organization. We work for ourselves, and while we respect you and are very happy with you for giving us a place of our own and where we can operate our business without fear of any vagrants coming in and ransacking the place, and without fear of the Moran army coming down upon us, we cannot offer any soldiers to help reinforce the city or any other villages. Simply put, not all of us are soldiers. I myself, I am simply a trickster," he says as he holds up the card, the Fool, again and shows the Duke. "Whereas there are many who are skilled with the sword, most of them are adventurers, people who go delving into ancient ruins and such, and they deal with a wild hog or two, and many of them are already out in the field here and there. We simply do not have the manpower, my lord. We are not like the Mages Conservatoire. We do not have a national agency. There's just one building." The Duke seems to be very annoyed with this declining of his request. Dower steps in and mentions, says, "Very well, Lear. Your declining has been noted. Duke, try not to scowl too much, Lester." Lester speaks up and he says, "Dower, you forget your place." "Apologies, my lord. Lear, please tell Thalion that he has nothing to worry about, and we appreciate him getting back to us on this matter in a timely manner." And Lear bows and says, "Yes, of course." And he begins to leave with you. And you can tell his pace is actually rather quick. But as he passes you, he seems to be grinning ear to ear.
Yeah. Lion, I know you said we were going to leave immediately, but I kind of wanted to go check out Lear's whole offer here. No, it's not. Kind of mostly out of character because I'm a little out of it, but yeah. So I know you said leave immediately, but Damien kind of doesn't want to leave immediately.
Where are we having this conversation?
Well, it's kind of out of character basically at the moment, so I'm just mentioning it.
How about you mention it in character? Where are you having the conversation?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, as we're leaving, I'm assuming we're leaving. We're done with the Duke, right? I mean, unless Lion had else to say.
Well,
No, we're headed out. It's just where are you starting this conversation?
Right. Once we kind of get out of earshot of the Duke and all that, just because you kind of said we were leaving immediately, and I thought maybe we could not leave immediately. So Damien would kind of look up to Lion or look over to Lion, and he said, "Lion, you said we were leaving immediately. But I kind of wanted to go to the Brighthawks place there to meet up with Lear." Can we do that first?
If we're out of the earshot of any important people.
Sure, we can say you're outside the castle. You just walked into the hall.
Cool.
Yeah.
that's more of a phrase than anything. We don't have to leave, and if we can leave as soon as possible, yes, we can go by and talk with Tirr.
Okay, it's just because, and I don't want to kind of lose track of him before we go, but yeah. Alright, let's thank you. I guess I kind of want to go over there sooner rather than later, just because, he said pretty much when we were done, so.
Well, let's
Sure,
follow.
Lucy is still to us, but.
I look around for him.
Lear is relatively ahead. He's not very far from you. He's just moving very quick. He's on a very, very quick pace. Although he doesn't seem to be particularly worried, he's just getting out of range of any kind of annoyance that the Duke might have for him. But should you keep up with him, he does end up heading straight to the Adventurers Guild where he mentioned. That said, we're going to call it tonight.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright?
So we'll start up next week at the Adventurers Guild.
Sure. We're going to do this, though. Tanian, everyone else, if you want to go ahead and level up your character, you can. If you want to take the time to think on it, you can. But remember, if it's not done by next week's game, you won't level up until you do. We will not be holding up the game for it. That said, Tanian, in your case, do not give yourself the Arcana cards just yet. You can do everything else.
Sure.
We won't have them simply appear in your inventory, but we'll get them to you sooner. So, do as you need.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hop off. Have a great night, guys.
Later.
All right.
You
Good
better
night.
be here
Later.
tomorrow.